Sit down.
Welcome into Out of Bounds here on 103.7 The Buzz. Appreciate everybody listening in on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. John Nabors, Joe Franklin, broadcasting live from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios with you today. And thank you as always for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon. Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend as we are entering into Reaction Monday presented by Fleet Management Services. So we're going to react to everything that happened over the sports weekend, and we want your reactions as well. You can call or text in at 501-661-1037. Get after us in the Asher Wrecker Live fan feedback. After me on Twitter at Buzz John Neighbors. Going to have Chris Gordy, Sports Talk 790 out of Houston. He'll join us in 3 o'clock hour to also recap the weekend because we have so many things to get to when it is football season, but having the college football landscape, NFL Week 1, almost in the books. Of course, I have a big game tonight on Monday Night Football, which I know we'll jump into that as well. And it was just great to know we'll dive into the Razorback game specifically, but it's just great to have, Saturday, nothing but games, Sunday, nothing but games, and be able to enjoy football just in its full swing from NFL and for college too.
Yeah, and then we got it started on Thursday, and there were some college games on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been nothing but football throughout the weekend, and then once again tonight.
Yeah, and it's going to be a good one tonight, and look forward to that one for multiple reasons too. But kind of just looking through the whole landscape of it all. We gave our predictions last week, which I don't think me and Joe did too well in our NFL picks, but I had a couple here and there. But
Still trying to figure out exactly where we stand, but just thinking about it, Nathan, he killed it last week. Just looking at the numbers initially, I want to say he got 10 of 13 games.
Oh, wow.
Now, may have to look back and just get it officially, but yeah, he did really well.
Yeah, because I went 6-7. I went to a bowl game and lost. That's that's the record I went last week. But the one thing, though, that we were all in complete and total agreement is Arkansas, of course, winning the game against Kent State, which they did. They did win the game against Kent State, but it wasn't exactly by the score that most of us predicted. They ended up winning 28-6. And, this is what Reaction Monday is all about, where we see things and we react to it and we give our thoughts and opinions on it. And now that we've seen 2 games for the Razorbacks, I'll fully admit, Joe, I'm not sitting here, abandoning ship, going crazy, saying this is terrible, this team sucks, blah, blah, blah. But, I did not really enjoy some of the things I saw, especially in the first half against Arkansas, not being able to run the ball effectively again. The offensive line not really being able to get a push like you were hoping to dominate against a team. I think that there's still some positives to take away, but I certainly that game did not give me just all the great feelings of optimism to think that this team dramatically improved from week 1 to week 2, or is at least not having some pretty significant question marks at this point in time after 2 weeks.
Not at all, because after week 1, they had some issues run the ball, and then we looked at the next opponent in Kent State and said, okay, now they're going to line it up, and they should be able to run the ball based on what Kent State did and how they looked defending against the run. They did not look good in that first game, so give them a little bit more credit into this game, but still, it's a game that Arkansas should be able to go into, do what they do best, running the ball, and still dominate the game, no matter if they're holding anything back, they're not showing anything, they're just running the ball. They should be able to go into a game like that and be dominant.
They should, and they needed to, just to really show that, hey, that game, because listen, Western Carolina and that game, we talked about the rushing attack not being great or, being struggled, but they made up for it in so many other areas, especially where they got up to a fast start offensively. I mean, they were up 21-3 at the end of the first quarter against Western Carolina. So not to say that we overlooked it, but we certainly looked at it as like, okay, well, hey, they did some other really good things. But in this one, it almost just seemed like in the first half, especially, it almost like they were just sleepwalking. Like the didn't look crisp. KJ goes 13 of 19, ends up having a nice game with 2 touchdown passes and has a few cool rushing games here too, or rushing yards. But he didn't look as crisp as what you saw in the first game. You didn't see the running backs hitting the holes because, listen, we can sit here and we're probably going to dive into some of the issues, but I don't want to pin it all on the offensive line because the offensive line did not look great at times, but it was also running backs not getting through the holes the right way that they were supposed to and hitting it the way they were supposed to and getting the yardage. So I think that it's definitely a reason to, I'm not saying panic, but you cannot be expected to perform that way in the rushing attack, especially on the offensive line, and not being able to get the blocks and not being able to open the holes, and expect to be really successful once SEC play comes around, because it's not going to get any easier from here. It's only going to get more difficult as the schedule goes on.
And then the passing wasn't really there either. It's like, the running wasn't there the previous week and the passing was. So then you come into this game wanting to do a certain thing, but if it's not there, how about getting the pass more involved? And they didn't do that well either.
Yeah, you had some drops. You had some missed assignments, misfiring from KJ. Again, it was just an overall, like, almost like they just kept hitting snooze on the alarm as an offense. They were just going through the motions. Now they did, as minor as it may have been, they did get a little bit better in the second half. They got a little bit more effective. They had some things like, for instance, they went 9 of 13 on third down conversions. That was nice to see. They ended the game by having the total amount of possession in the second half more favorable towards them, because in the first half, the time of possession, like 20 minutes, is what Kent State had the ball. So that was nice to see. So it wasn't like it was just terrible all around, but still, it's just, if you're a fan, if you're hoping and you're optimistic about this team taking some steps forward, it's just that was not the game that really helped you out or helped your argument or helped you feel better about it. And they got a big game against BYU this weekend, which we know is a much better team than what we've seen the past 2 weeks. And honestly, I think BYU is a better team than what they were a year ago. So, you can't mess around anymore and keep saying, oh, we got to figure this out and figure out how to get it working, because BYU is going to come in here expecting to win, and they have a veteran team that's going to try to take advantage. And if you can't run the ball against BYU effectively, you're going to struggle to win that game.
BYU is a better team than the past two opponents. They may not necessarily be better than they were last year, but can we say that Arkansas is better than they were last year? Now, with BYU, they lost their quarterback and they lost their top receiver. And by the way, their top receiver put up NFL stats this week that put them in the top 5 in receiving. So they lost some pieces there, but we know that they are big up front on both sides of the ball with that defensive line, their offensive line. And so with the defensive line, if Arkansas hasn't had success run the ball so far, that will be one of those key matchups you want to look at.
Yeah, and Slovis is the quarterback for BYU. The guy that was at USC, I would believe, forgot what other
USC
school.
Pitt.
That's what it was. Yeah,
he's been a few places.
Him and JT Daniels have just been touring the country, it seems.
And as a matter of fact, they started together at USC.
Yeah, so it's something coming full circle there. But he's an experienced quarterback who's played at a high level at different places, so they're going to have to bring it. But that being said, of course, it's there's reasons to be concerned at things. But I'll give a lot of credit where credit is due. I liked what the defense did once again. I thought that Jeff Coates, which, by the way, he was named SEC Lineman of the Week, so congrats to him. I thought he did some great stuff. I love that fourth down stand at the end of the game, Landon Jackson getting in the backfield. Yeah, you held him to no touchdowns, and this is now in 2 games. You've held a team to both teams to only 1 touchdown, which I know it's about competition, but comparing to what it was last year when everybody was able to score on you, that's a positive. And, I like Pooh Paul being back in, some big hits, and can't forget Antonio Greer and a pick 6. Now back-to-back weeks with pick 6s for Arkansas. So it's not to say that it's all doom and gloom and this team's terrible or anything like that, because there are some positives. But again, the things that you want to see from an SEC caliber team, you didn't really get to see. But I will say, Joe, that maybe it's my old weird glass half full type of mentality. But I was like, seeing how some of the other college football programs kind of had some struggles with some, quote, lesser teams too, maybe feel a little bit better. Where I was like, okay, well, maybe it's just a weird week for some of these teams, seeing North Carolina go to overtime against Appalachian State. I was like, maybe, maybe there's just something, maybe just some in the water, for college football.
Yeah, but that happened last year and those same 2 opponents in that game. So that may be more based on the matchup that's there.
Yeah, probably so. Obviously, again, I'm just trying to find any way I can, really make it work. But no, it's true though. It was a good week for college football, and I know we'll dive into some of the games, especially the big one, Texas and Alabama. I don't know if Texas is back, but I have a feeling that winning that type of game is going to make me a believer in saying, you know what, maybe Texas is back, because they're was
number
incredible
4 now.
Yeah, and rightfully so.
So that in itself says that they're back for what the present, where
Mhm.
we are right now, being number 4 in the country. Yes, they are.
You beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa. All right. I mean, it's just, you did it convincingly, and you look good doing it. I don't know what else to say and why anyone would think that they're not a good team, but they did that. It's still a lot of season left, though. I mean, we're 2 weeks in. A lot of things got to be figured out in college football, but it was definitely still a fun week nonetheless. Let's go to Savage and Cabot, who's the early caller. What's up, Savage?
What's up, fellas? You doing all right?
Doing good.
Doing great, man.
Hey, you look at the offensive line, John. Pittman came out and said, it was nice to have depth, and we thought it was a little bit of rocket. He might have been banged up the first game, but then you come in with a different set of backs, and you get the same result. There's no push, there's no run, and then he comes out. I mean, do you think that Enos and Pittman are on the same page, John?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think they are, and I'm looking at a comparison, and maybe this is a bad comparison, Savage, but this is just what I'm looking at. I went back to 2015 when Arkansas had Dan Enos brought on as an offense coordinator, and Sam Pittman was still the offensive line coach. And that time, there was about a 3 to 4 week span. Arkansas's offense was not clicking the way that they needed. And I'm saying it wasn't as, statistically, it was better in 2015 through the first 2 games, but I'm sure you remember the loss to Toledo when Arkansas scored 12 points.
Yep.
Texas Tech the next week, they scored 24, but the offense just did not look in sync, and they were having problems actually blocking and open up holes for the running backs. So I guess my hope is that maybe they can figure it out. Maybe they can put it together, kind of like what they did in 2015 by week 4 or 5. But I know no one wants to hear that, but it's definitely a concern where no matter who you're putting out there and how you're doing it, there's nothing going for it. No matter the running backs, no matter the offensive line, you got nothing for it.
Right, and I get it. This is the first 2 games of the season. Sky's not falling, whatever you want to call it. But we were told the tight end was going to get utilized. There was going to be passes over the middle. And I'm not a believer of you don't show your offense. You're waiting on these other teams to get in the SEC. Well, guess what? BYU, you're going to lose in that same mentality. Because if they're not showing it, BYU's going to put it up. They put up 400 passes. Our defense is going to keep us in the game. But if our offense isn't scoring, we're going to lose.
Yep.
And talk about the number 1 NFL defense in Cowboys. I'm going to get off it.
All right, Savage. Appreciate it. How about them Cowboys? Man.
Only
Domination.
team to get a shutout.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I had them on one of my fantasy leagues, defense special teams. Glad I had that one. It's about the only thing that went right for me on my fantasy teams. But hey, we got a lot more coming up here on Reaction Monday, presented by Fleet Management Services. So stay with us.
Arkansas's premier basketball recruiting analyst each Friday on Drive Time Sports. Brought to you by Fence Brokers. Fence Brokers, going the extra mile.
This is Sports Center.
Arkansas took care of business against Kent State, although not as convincing as fans may have wanted, winning 28-6. The Razorbacks still struggled on the ground, rushing 45 times for 172 yards. Arkansas now turns the page to BYU. They'll play them at home at 6:30 on Saturday night. UCA, however, won convincingly, beating Texas College 70-2. Central Arkansas racked up 499 yards, 396 of those yards coming on the ground. They averaged a staggering 9.9 yards per rush. Texas College has been outscored 166-2 so far this season as they lost week 1 to UT Permian Basin 96-0. UCA faces a little more adversity this week as they travel to Fargo, North Dakota to take on FCS powerhouse North Dakota State. Kickoff for that game will be at 3:30 on Saturday. And Arkansas State lost to Memphis 37-3 to drop to 0-2 on the season. The Red Wolves have been outscored 107-3 through 2 games. They'll host Stony Brook and Jonesboro on Saturday. Kickoff is set for 6 o'clock. I'm Christian Weaver with the Buzz Radio Network.
What's good, y'all? Clint Sterner here for Low T Center. Fellas, when it comes to your health, every man should know his testosterone number. What's that mean? It's simple. You need to schedule an appointment at Low T Center immediately. It's quick. It's easy. Hell, it's only $25. Walk in, take a simple blood test, get the results in about 25 minutes. So if you've been feeling tired and grumpy, sensing a lack of motivation and drive, dealing with high cholesterol, noticing stubborn weight gain and or loss of muscle mass, it's on you, fellas. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book your appointment. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Hi, I'm Trey Reed from the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission, inviting you to join me every Wednesday morning for the latest news from the great outdoors. It's brought to you by Arts Marine in North Little Rock, now under new ownership, but with the same familiar faces and incredible service you've known for years, plus the area's best selection of boating parts and supplies.
Not again. Let me tell you about my man Tom. He had some serious bad luck. And one day he said to me,
"When is my luck gonna change?"
And I was like, "You need to go to Tunica, bro." And he was like,
"Yeah, good idea, bro."
Tom was winning big money. People were cheering and kisses. My man was like,
"This is amazing."
his losing streak was finally over.
Man, I cannot believe my luck.
Believe it, because when you're in Tunica, you're always a winner.
Justin Anker reminding you that if you want the job done right, then don't stress. Just go with the best. CertaPro Painters is your go-to painting company. You can get your free estimate scheduled at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. People who are going to be responsible and people who are going to be accountable to you and your family to make sure your project gets done right. So if you've been thinking about sprucing up your home or business for the fall season that is almost upon us, you need to get CertaPro on the case. Use the company that I've used many times over the years. It is CertaPro Painters. You'll be happy you did.
Jackalope Cycling is passionate about the Arkansas outdoors. To help you enjoy this beautiful state, Jackalope offers an array of bike rentals to get you on the trails.
What about fly fishing from a bicycle?
You can't do that, but Jackalope also offers fly rods, reels, waders, fly fishing accessories, outdoor and camping gear.
Yeah, it'll be tough riding a bicycle in waders.
But you can still enjoy the Arkansas outdoors with Jackalope Cycling in Russellville or jackalopecycling.com.
Greatness doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, focus, and dedication. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that because we put in the hard work and dedication for decades. And that commitment is paid off with award-winning customer service for your auto, home, and life insurance.
See Shelter Agent Paul Killingsworth in Cabot, Jonathan Stone in Lone Oak, or Stephen Reeser in Jacksonville today.
Greenway is your local source for John Deere equipment and implements. Now, we've made finding the perfect piece of equipment even easier. Shop our tractor packages online at gogreenway.com. Till deeper with our down-to-earth package. Or save big with our Green Saver package. Need something with a little more muscle? Kick it up a notch with Greenway's Get In Gear package. We're here to support the DIYer in you. No matter what project comes your way, Greenway has you covered.
Same great deals, all new location for Hoggs Meat Market in North Little Rock at 3901 JFK Boulevard. Call them today at 501-758-7700 for all their specials at Hoggs Meat Market, the steak people. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
Dean's going to throw, and it's intercepted at the 15. Spence has picked it off, and he's going to go the distance. 50, 40, 30, 20. Brad Spence to the house. An interception return for a score, 85 yards in his first game as a Razorback. How about that?
On 103.7 The Buzz.
Wait a minute, this love started off so tender, so sweet. But now she got me smoking out the window.
You must have spent 45,000 up in Tiffany's. Oh no! Got a bed and kids running around my whole crib.
It is Out of Bounds here on Reaction Monday, folks. And I got to tell you that even though my picks for the NFL did not go very well on our actual picks itself, I did win some money with Bet Saracen because I was able to think more with my head than my heart. And when money's on the line, it's always very important. But it was still great to have all the action back in football and had plenty of reason to be excited about it because you get to watch the games and also win some money on the games. And we still got a game tonight in the NFL, the Jets in Buffalo. If you're feeling good about the Jets and think that they're going to start their Super Bowl run here tonight, well, you can go on Bet Saracen as they are 2-point underdogs. Or maybe you think Buffalo is going to roll. You can go and bet on them as well. And that's just the tip of the iceberg with all the games. They even have the line set up already for next week of NFL games. And even BYU and Arkansas. Right now, Arkansas is favored by 10.5 points, according to Bet Saracen. So if you think that, this team sucks and Arkansas is not any good, well, okay, go over there and bet the plus 10.5 for BYU if you're feeling that. But if you're just not a football fan, they have Major League Baseball specials going on still, boosted parlays. They even have some cool specials for the game tonight as well. Think there's going to be a successful 2-point conversion? You can bet on that, plus 350. How about Jets to score first and Bills to win by 7 or more points, plus 700 on that. And that's just one of the many specials they have tonight. Tennis specials, NBA season specials, all the specials with Bet Saracen. If you have yet to download the app, you got to do it now. You're wasting time and you're losing money because that's what they do. They make it fun and they make it easy to win. So download the Bet Saracen app now. You can also go online at betsaracen.com and be able to bet that way too. No matter what it is, you better do it with Bet Saracen because you don't want to miss out on watching the games, making money on the games, and having a lot of fun on the games with Bet Saracen. Sam Pittman, after the game, though, we were talking about the offensive struggles and the offensive line struggling. Here's what he said about the offensive line actually rotating, which was quite an interesting thing.
Guys, we're not the only team in the world that's played 5 linemen. I mean, somebody's playing 6 or 7. I'm trying to figure out who our best linemen are, and if I feel like they've earned opportunities to play. What's the difference in an O lineman and a freaking D lineman? We played 9 of them guys. I mean, if I feel like they're good enough to help us win, it'll help us in the long run. I understand that we're supposed to play 5 guys. We do, but that ain't why we're not running the ball, guys.
So he's talking about the rotating offensive linemen, saying that we're not the only ones doing it out there, and says there's a lot more issues than just the offensive line. A little bit defensive about it, but I can understand it. He's an offensive line coach. He wants he sees something, he wants it to be better, and he's basically putting it out there. Like, we're just trying to find the best guys to put out there and make it work at this point in time, and that's what these games are all about.
Also, he just wants it to be known that there are other issues and not that the blame goes squarely on them. There are a lot more factors in there, and they're wanting to get it worked out. That's the bottom line. They just want to solve the problem and have a better chance of doing some things that they're used to doing moving forward.
On our Southern Structural Solutions text line from the 501 says, do you feel like the running back's not seeing the holes is just an excuse for the line not getting a push? And who is the weak links on the offensive line? Well, I think that's what we were just talking about. Like, I think it's a mixture of both. But as an offensive line, you have to get push, and they have not been getting push. They haven't been moving the line. And I don't even know if there's just one particular player that's like standing out as being a problem. It looks like the whole unit is just, it'd be one thing if 4 guys were getting pushed, but the other one was being the weak link. I think that's kind of what Sam Pittman was referring to. We're rotating guys, trying to find the best 5 to put out there and to make it work. I think it's also surprising maybe to some, Joe, that, if there's one thing we could ever say about Sam Pittman being the head coach, it's like, well, the offensive line's always going to be good because he's one of the best. And so to see that part of it struggling is kind of weird. It's like almost like a Bobby Petrino coach team having a bad quarterback play. Just the one thing you're specialty at, if that's the thing that's struggling, it doesn't really add up and doesn't make any sense.
And to be at this part of the season when you do have what's looked at as a softer schedule, you don't expect this, and then you don't expect them to still be trying to work out who they're going to make the starters or who's going to be the biggest contributors to this offensive line at this point in the season. This is something that goes back to spring ball. They've had all off season. They have fall camp. And at this time, your offensive line is the unit that you depend on to be stable unless there are injuries there. But it's always good to have quality backups and players that can come in a game because of those situations. But that's why Coach Pittman was saying, what's the difference with the offensive line and defensive line? Most people do view it as this is the line, the unit that should be stable, and you're depending on 5 guys unless something goes wrong, then you have to bring somebody in, but you don't necessarily have them in a rotation. Now, there was a time that they would rotate offensive linemen, but that was to get playing experience for some of these guys. And, going back to when Bielema was the coach and Sam Pittman was the offensive line coach at the time, they had a philosophy they would do some of those things, but that was more so to get these guys on the field and get them experience. Right now, that's not what's happening. They're looking for the right fit.
Yeah, they're looking for the guys that they can count on and to be able to make those plays. But again, it's reason for concern, of course, and reasons to be a little bit frustrated, of course. And I guess it's also weird that, in the fall camp, we heard about the pass protection being a problem, but I feel like the pass protections, and it hasn't been perfect, but it's been solid for the most part. I mean, KJ has stayed upright for the most part, and even if he didn't, he bounces off of tacklers anyways. But yeah, it's just funny how we are 2 weeks in and we're feeling better about the defense and where they're at than the offense. Like, who would have guessed that? Considering all that stuff.
Feeling better about them, but based on the competition,
Right.
Can't really take a lot from what they've been doing either.
Right, yeah. Just the feeling of it all and the direction that it's going. Also, from 501 says, Reaction Monday, guys. As Arkansas fans, we'll have to pour out the strong dislike for the burnt orange. However, I loved it when the Texas QB, Quinn Ewers, was very clear when a reporter tried to bait him on Texas being back, and he responded with 1 game at a time. and that is the right approach.
That is the right approach.
Yeah. 300 yards for that guy. Like, man, that was an impressive performance by him.
Well, he's somebody that people have been doubting also. We saw that he did perform well against Bama last year, and they've been doubting him simply because they recruited Arch Manning, and he's there waiting in the wings. And even in the offseason, the question was, is Quinn Ewers going to be your starter again, or is Arch Manning going to come in and start from day one? So there have been people doubting him. So he's going out and playing ball and showing everybody that he belongs where he is.
Yeah, and Texas made a statement and getting ready for the SEC that they can hold their own, because imagine that, next year they're going to be in this conference, and the year before that they go into arguably one of the toughest places to play against arguably the best college football program here, especially in the past 15, 20 years. Actually, it's not arguable. I think they are. And you beat them in their place. And I wanted to say, I tried to go back and find the stat, that was Nick Saban's first time losing by double digits at home since
in so many years.
Ever. So, I mean, that's an impressive thing. I don't care. Even if, Milroe didn't look great as a passer, he's a great athlete. Their offense didn't look great. But regardless of all that, I think it's more about what Texas was able to do and less about like Bama. Oh, well, they just didn't play well. They don't have a quarterback. You got to give Texas credit. Like, no matter who's on that team, they're still Alabama 5 stars, and they're still really great players.
Well, going into the game, you give Texas a chance simply because you know what they have on the outside with their receivers. And although Bama, historically, that they have good defensive backs, good secondary, that's something that Coach Saban specializes in, and he pays a lot of attention to. But they just from a matchup standpoint, you knew that they'd be able to play with them, even if you're thinking, one side or another, whether you thought Bama's defensive backs would be able to have the edge, but you knew that Texas receivers would be able to play and have something to say about that matchup.
Also from the Asher Record Live fan feedback, this comes from Ryan. He says there's a huge difference in rotations, offensive linemen, and rotations of defensive linemen. The postgame press conference shows Sam's inexperience often. I think there's a difference, but again, he knows. I'm trusting him, or at least giving him the benefit of the doubt when it comes to the offensive line, because he knows what it takes, and he knows how good it needs to be. And if he's saying that it's something that they do and something that they need to do, then so be it. But you just got to figure it out quick, because BYU, which is weird, this is an SEC Big 12 matchup this weekend. I still have to keep reminding myself that, like, this is a Power 5 team technically that you're playing this weekend against BYU. And I think this past week that they took care of business and scored a lot of points, and they're going to be ready. They're going to be ready to try to go into Fayetteville and win. Also, Paul says on Asher Record Life fan feedback, chill out, Enos. I want to say Enos, Dan Enos ain't showing nothing. Bubble screens and run between the tackles. We're 2-0 against Sisters of the Poor type programs. Everyone that run through the A knew we were going to win. You'll see a different team, Hog team on Saturday. Big boy football is here, and they'll be ready to go. Go Hogs. Hope you're right.
Yeah, but
hope you're
Coach
right.
Pittman has questions about that also, because we've heard it all off season that this team was going to be more physical, and at this point, he's even questioning how physical they've been so far.
Yeah, and if he's questioning it, then there's reasons to question it. I mean, you can be concerned. You can say that there's problems without saying that this team's terrible, but you can also say that there are some things that are positive, that are optimistic, to say, well, hey, this might be a team that could still be pretty good. But I think we had also someone in the Asher Record Live fan feedback, Ricky, say the same 8-10 win people, or are you thinking your decision any differently? Justin West is sure thinking differently. Remember, being realistic is a whole lot easier. I mean, I'm not changing my prediction. It's just, I wanted to see more from a game, but they still won. We gotta remember that. It's still a W, but they got to get a lot better. They got to do a lot better.
The people that need to change their predictions or are rethinking their predictions are the ones that said 9 and 10 wins. If you said 6, 7, 8, that's still right there
still
where you're thinking maybe they are right on par for that. But if you're talking 9 or 10, those are people that are questioning where they came into the season thinking and what it looks like now.
Because we'll also look at the rest of the SEC West. Like, not saying it's Arkansas can go undefeated in the West, but I mean, LSU has looked a little bit beatable. I know Alabama looked beatable too, but even throwing in, Auburn goes on the road and barely beats Cal and needs a last-second touchdown, late touchdown to win that one. Ole Miss, they look pretty good in the fourth quarter, but against Tulane was a good team. How good are they? Defensively, they still have issues, but The point is that the SEC West, we still have no idea how good it is or how bad it is. Arkansas could be a team that is good enough to finish there. And A&M, I can't forget A&M. Goodness, they got smoked by Miami over there in Miami. And they couldn't stop anybody defensively. So it's still very much wide open in this division. Just a matter of, can Arkansas improve enough to get to the point to where people are feeling good about it? Let's go to Brent in Stuttgart. What's up, Brent?
What's up, John and Joe?
What's going on, man?
One thing to say to you gentlemen. Okay, y'all were talking about Sam Pittman and Brett Bingham used to like to change out their offense, substitute on their offensive line. The only one they substituted in was Frank Ragnow when he was a freshman.
Yeah.
And you know where Big Frank's playing right now, right?
And the NFL doing a good job doing it too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, he is. But I am a little bit concerned about when I hear that our offense, we're not physical, we weren't focused to play. I'm just telling you, boys, that comes down on the head football coach. If he can't get our guys focused and ready to play, we got problems. And if our players don't have enough self-gumption to get themselves focused to play, we got major problems. I don't want to hear about, like I hear on your station, about a quarterback that's trying to do the NIL driving around in a candy red Corvette. I don't care. I want to hear KJ getting us ready to play. I don't care what he's driving. I mean, that doesn't concern me in the least. I'm just concerned about us being ready to play.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense, Brent. That makes sense. And as always, we appreciate you calling in, man. Yeah, listen, it's about where you have a team that's supposed to be improved in certain areas, and you have an expectation for it. And if they're not showing it in the first couple of weeks, you get a little concerned, you get a little irritated, you get a little frustrated, because it's like you want to be able to take that next step. And if this team is looking this way right now, like, is it a fixable thing? Like the offensive line, like what we've been talking about. I mean, is that something that you can fix, like in the middle of the season? Or is it like,
no, definitely not in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
That's why they have the rotation going now, because they're trying to figure it out. It's something coming into the season that you're already depending on 5 players to be that offensive line. But if you're still working on it now, then it is a problem.
Mm-hmm. And you got to fix it now. Like, you do the best that you can. The last thing you just want to do is have become one-dimensional almost, where you have to have KJ throw it all the time, which he's capable of. He's capable of throwing, and I think the wide receivers once again were showing out. Isaac TeSlaa made some great catches over the weekend, but you can't become one-dimensional and take him away. And it's because one of the best times that he's at his best is when he's running. KJ's getting the ball and taking off running and everything, and we want to keep him upright. You want to keep him healthy, because that's also very important too. But you got to see how it plays out this weekend. It's going to be another test against a good BYU team, and if it's got the same issues going on, then we can start feeling a little bit uneasy about it. But still got a lot of reasons to feel like it's got to continue to get better. And who knows, maybe the offense opens up, maybe some running backs happen. But we do know this, according to Sam Pittman, that Rocket Sanders will be out this weekend. He is not going to come back and play. Dwight McLaughlin, who suffered turf toe, he was out for a good bit in the game against Kent State. He will be back for BYU, but yeah.
That's good news.
Yeah. So if you're going to get the running game going, you're going to have to do it without Rocket Sanders this weekend, which hopefully they can figure out a way to make that happen. Let's go to Ryan in Hot Springs. What's up, Ryan?
Oh, it's just kind of funny watching this fan base do the same old song and dance. Can't take a deep breath, because, in 2011, I'm going to rewind this back that far. That's all I heard in 2011 was, our secondary, we ain't got no secondary. All that team did was go and win 11 games and had a legitimate shot at winning a 12 against LSU. But of course, we blew that lead going up 17-0. Another point I want to make off that team too. Now I get there are differences, but just hear me out. Do you know what our leading rusher? I'm assuming you know who our leading rusher was that season, right?
In 2011, was it Dennis Johnson?
It was. Guess how many yards he had for the year?
I think it was like only like 700, maybe 600-700.
Very good. You're the only one that has known that that I've been talking to all week. Nobody else has gotten that right. it was just under. It was like 674 or something like. It was just under 700. The point I'm making with that is that team ran the ball just enough to open up the passing game. If that's how we have to win, that's how we have to win. And I ain't gonna be unbothered about it. Something else I'm gonna bring up from that year too, and the year before. Those were considered pretty elite teams, and yet we let a ULL team come in and play with us for 3 quarters. Of course, we opened it up in the 4th quarter. Opened up later in the game, kind of like we did this weekend, and also we let a 3-9 Troy team. Obviously, we didn't know it was 3-9 when we played them, but they played us within 10 points. My point I'm trying to make is, it seems like even when we have good teams, we let these not as good teams come in and play with us when they shouldn't be. To me, it's just history repeating itself. Hopefully, this is that, and they're going to fix their problems and move on. But that's kind of my thoughts. I'm not panicking. I trust Pittman, and I trust our offensive coordinator to get things going and get things rolling. That's kind of where I'm at with it, and I think everybody just needs to take a deep breath.
All right. Well, appreciate it, Ryan. Thanks
Hope
for
y'all
calling.
have a great day. I hope y'all have a great day, and go Hogs.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, appreciate it, Ryan. Yeah, I mean, and I agree with them to an extent. There's still a lot of, season left, obviously, and this is going to be a big test. But also at the same time, though, if it's back-to-back games where you're having that issue with running the ball or being effective offensively, that's where it's like, especially against opponents you feel like you have better athletes than, you're bigger, you're faster, you're stronger. That's where I'm a little bit concerned about. It's just it's like one thing if it happens one game, hey, one game happens, but back-to-back games, can't get anything going. That's where I get a little bit worried.
Yeah, and for good reason. So, based off the opponents, people are thinking, okay, what's this going to look like once you get into playing better competition, which is coming up against BYU, and then conference play is on the other side of that. So it does raise the level of concern when you're just thinking about what's ahead.
Yeah, not only BYU this week, but you got LSU on the road, which it was announced that it's going to be a 6 p.m. game on ESPN. So it's a night game in Death Valley. So much fun.
Exactly what was expected.
Well, you better get it figured out before then. That's all I'm saying. But we still got a lot more to talk about. We got what's trending in the world of sports. So it's more of your phone calls and text messages. Coming up here on Out of Bounds on a Reaction Monday, presented by Fleet Management Services. So stay with us.
Allow us to introduce ourselves. We are Big O Tires. However, we might as well go by Big O Tires, alignments, batteries, brakes, oil changes, suspensions, and free visual inspection upon arrival, because we do all that and more. But that name seems a little long and it won't fit on our sign. Now at Big O Tires in Conway and Cabot, take $100 off select sets of tires. That's right, save $100 right now off select sets of tires and get tires, service, and straight talk at Big O Tires.
This is a public service announcement for hard seltzer lovers. Neutral Vodka Seltzer has arrived. Made with simple ingredients like vodka, seltzer, and real juice. Neutral tastes good. Like real good. So good that you'll never want to drink another artificial tasting seltzer again. Neutral's light and refreshing taste will show you what a vodka seltzer can be. Try Neutral, the one with the umlaut. Copyright 2023 Neutral Distilled Spirit Specialty, Los Angeles, California. Enjoy responsibly.
Attention Arkansas homeowners. Bath Makeover of Arkansas is looking for 50 homeowners to participate in our first ever Rake in the Fall savings event. 50 homeowners will receive test market pricing on a beautiful new walk-in shower. We're looking to evaluate our exciting new product lines in real bathroom conditions, including our revolutionary new laser etch shower wall system. That's right. Homeowners will receive promotional pricing just to determine if our exquisite product lines are the right fit for your bathroom project. The first 50 homeowners who call 1-800-357-0956 will save 75% on installation of a new walk-in shower. Ask about 18 months, no interest, no payments. Senior and military discounts. Receive a $200 Amazon gift card with purchase and call 1-800-357-0956 now to receive a free $50 restaurant.com gift card with estimate. Call 1-800-357-0956.
Make plans to attend the Arkansas Democrat Gazette Health and Wellness Expo, sponsored by UAMS, on Saturday, September 30th at the State House Convention Center in Little Rock. This free health and living expo will feature free health screenings, the memo van, doctor panels, a political panel, Arkansas Travelers Bingo, and prize drawings. Don't miss this event, Saturday, September 30th in Little Rock. To find out more, check out today's Arkansas Democrat Gazette or visit ArkansasHealthAndWellnessExpo.com.
I have diabetes. I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I have asthma. I'm at risk too.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a vaccine that can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Injured? There's only one number you need to know. Dial 888-8888.
At Rainwater Holton Sexton, no case is too big and no insurance company too strong. Just dial 888-8888.
We are battle-tested, big case injury lawyers who've recovered millions for our clients. Just dial 888-8888.
Been in a wreck anywhere in the state? Just dial 888-8888.
Responsible attorneys Michael Rainwater and Bob Sexton.
Fire up the grill this summer with the highest quality of meats from Hoggs Meat Market and their new location off JFK Boulevard in North Little Rock. Hoggs Meat Market, the steak people. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
Jefferson off the zone read. Play action. Pumps once. Looking deep. Tesla at the goal line. Complete. Touchdown, Arkansas. Man, is this guy a find or what?
On 103.7 The Buzz.
If you're shopping for a vehicle you want to get to Gwatney Chevrolet, Gwatney has best deals in the market, been doing it 60-plus years. Give them a call, 501-982-2102. Make a trip to the lot off the Gregory Street exit in Jacksonville. Shop them online, GwatneyChevrolet.com. You can see all the deals, the cash allowances, the rebates, even appraise a vehicle. See just how much it's worth. They're giving thousands over book value, whether you trade that vehicle in or you sell it to Gwatney Chevrolet. Gwatney is always actively buying vehicles, so you get a great deal on the vehicle that you trade in or sell. See the entire inventory of new and pre-owned vehicles on GwatneyChevrolet.com. And they have convenient service hours throughout the week. Also Saturday, 7 a.m. until noon, in case you can't make it throughout the week. So get that service scheduled today at Gwatney Chevrolet. It's Gwatney Chevrolet, Arkansas's #1 Chevy dealer. Gwatney Chevrolet, GwatneyChevrolet.com.
It is a Reaction Monday presented by Fleet Management Services. We'll have what's trending in the world of sports here in just a second, but we do have some people that have been patiently holding here on the phone line, so let's try to work through those. We have Mizzou Maniac from Conway. What's going on?
Hey, guys.
What's up, man?
Yeah, from Conway. What's going on? Hey, I wanted to kind of bring up a point. I like that last caller talking about the history repeating itself, and I think that was a great point. I've been here in Arkansas 15 years, and I want to remind all the Hog fans, it could be worse. You could have Eli Drinkwitz.
You're already done with Eli Drinkwitz?
Dude, he's coaching for his life up there. They barely beat Middle Tennessee State, and that guy is just, the fan base is about done with him. He's stubborn. And all that to say, I think the Hog football fans, you're in good hands with Pittman, and I think the offensive line issue is going to get worked out. And but yeah, just could be worse, guys. So I'll just want to bring that point up, and I'll hang up and listen.
Okay, appreciate it, man. Wow, Mizzou Maniac already off the board for Eli Drinkwitz. They're also 2-0 though, right? Yeah,
they are.
Yeah, it's just Middle Tennessee. It was you beat them 23-19. Wasn't ideal, but it's there's still a long season in front of you.
It could be worse. Middle Tennessee went to Miami and beat Miami last year. Now we're talking about two different seasons, but it's not like Middle Tennessee is one of those teams you can just say you're going to show up and beat them convincingly. They're coming to play.
Oh yeah. Like again, there's other teams that came to play, and Again, as long as you win the game, at the end of the day, at the end of the season, when you look back on the year, you're going to dictate how good of or how successful the year was based on just wins and losses. Just for the Arkansas example, say if Arkansas win 9-3, just throwing it out there, they win 9-3. Are you going to look back on the year and be like, yeah, those 9 wins were great, but that one against Kent State, that really ruined it for me? No, you're not going to do that. You're going to be happy about the wins at the end of the day. That's all that matters. Big Rick's in Heber Springs. What's going on, Big Rick?
Well, this is what I'm concerned about. My reaction is Sam Pittman, after the red and white scrimmages, he kind of lashed out to Trey Biddy, and I knew something was bothering him, and I never expected to be the offensive line. These boys don't have the heart. There's something they're missing. I couldn't tell at the game watching it, but they ain't got the it factor like a lot of other players, and I'm concerned.
So do you think that it's just over? It's not going to get fixed, or you think it's a fixable issue they can make work this year?
Man, I don't know. I just didn't see. They just didn't have the try that I wanted to see. I mean, it's one thing to get whipped, but if you're trying, and it just didn't look like they had the, I call it the it factor. It just didn't look like they had the it factor working with them.
Well, I get it, Big Rick, and appreciate your phone call, man. I mean, it's hard to point to it and say, oh, no, you feel good about it. You feel good about where it's at. You feel good about where it's going. And, maybe there is an issue there where they don't have the it factor and trying to be an effective offensive line. But again, it's you got the victory. You got some things that look okay, that look all right for right now. But you're still 2-0. All right? You're still 2-0. You still had some good things defensively that happened for you. KJ's still looking good. You got some wide receivers that can catch the ball really effectively. Luke has got a little bit more involved, the tight end. So, that's something to hold your hat on. It's not all doom and gloom. You're still 2-0. And you've got some good things going for you, but you also got some concerns. And Razorback Bob's in Hot Springs. What's up, Razorback Bob?
Hey, guys. What's up?
What's up, man?
Hey! I got to ask you something about what was said. Get y'all's opinion first before I say what it is. I want to tell you, I think we got a lot of talent. I think the talent we got are coachable. They're hungry and want to learn, and I think they're playing hard. And I think we got the coaches to get us where we want to go. With that said, there was an interview with Jeffco, and I really am thankful that he came to Arkansas. I think he's going to be a great player for us. But he said something that kind of concerned me. And they asked him a question, and he said, talking about Saturday, this game kind of woke us all up, and we realized that we're going to have to play harder. Now, what does that say to y'all? To me, it indicates possibly that they wasn't playing as hard as what they should have. Just wanted to get y'all's reaction. Y'all have a great show and a blessed day.
Okay, appreciate it, Razorback Bob.
Not to take anything away from that to say that they weren't playing as hard, just realizing that they're going to have to give better effort with the opponents and the schedule that's coming up. Not that they took this opponent lightly or anything to that matter. It's just that you realize, especially with the players, the coaches, the team there, they realize it's going to have to be a lot better in the effort and the result of what they do, the execution, to have those results that they expect in these next few games, or it's not going to go their way.
Yeah, I didn't take it as any sort of, oh, well, their coaches aren't getting them ready, or, they're not ready, or anything like that. I think it's just human nature, and sometimes it'll be admitted, sometimes it won't be. But sometimes I believe that when you're a team, you're going to have some letdowns. There's going to be times where you feel like you should just go into a game and roll. It's human nature. And it may not be as a collective team. It may be as a player, as an individual, or as a unit, whatever it is. You want to have confidence in yourself, but you also want to make sure that you stay hungry there. But I mean, I don't take it as any sort of negative or any sort of like, oh, this is a major problem because they weren't. So as a player said that they took it as a wake-up call, because here's the thing. If it becomes a wake-up call, it could be the best thing that happens to this team. You know, if they come out against BYU on Saturday and suddenly they are running the ball effectively, that they are getting after it and being more physical, that they are fixing a lot of these issues that people may have had, they did that, then the wake-up call was probably the best thing for them. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, and this will be what's interesting, we're going to have Joshua Braun on our show tomorrow, thanks to Matt Black, Allstate Insurance, and he's an offensive lineman. He's a starter. So we can talk to him about what he thinks about the issues. Is it something that's fixable? Is it something that they're working through? Just what's his overall take on it? Because I feel like if there's anybody that would know, it's probably going to be a guy that's on the offensive line itself. So, but we'll see, folks. I know we got another hour of Out of Bounds, or 2 hours, but second hour is going to be coming up. We're going to continue to get to your reactions here on a Reaction Monday, presented by Fleet Management Services. Keep those calls and texts in coming. 501-661-1037. We're also going to go and get to what's trending in the world of sports. We'll go around the NFL, get some thoughts and opinions on that too, and also best and the worst of the weekend. You won't want to miss it, so you better stay tuned. You're on Out of Bounds.
Tune into Morning Mayhem every Monday as Wally Hall tells it like it is. Presented by Capital Smokehouse and Grill, Little Rock's favorite go-to lunch spot.
Mow, dig, haul, lift. The versatile Kubota BX Series subcompact tractor does it all. Switching attachments is simple, and a smooth hydrostatic transmission makes for easy operation. The Kubota BX Series, rated #1 in durability and owner experience. Talk to your local Kubota dealer today to schedule a demo. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer. River Valley Tractor, closer than you think.
Where can you find 16 cold beers on tap, the largest Irish whiskey selection in town, weekday happy hour, as well as college, pro, and even World Cup football games all on big screen TVs? Oh, and let's not forget the great food, great drinks, daily lunch specials, music on the weekends, and a private party room available with reservation. Well, of course, it's Dugan's Pub, your favorite Irish pub in Little Rock since 2010. Dugan's Pub, downtown 3rd and Rock Street. Dugan'sPubLR.com.
No matter what you do,
you were finished.
We can't be stopped.
Oh, well, allow me to retort.
103.7 The Buzz.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
KABZ, Little Rock. Buzz News with Channel 7's Brian Houston.
Police in Conway are currently investigating a shooting that happened at 855 Salem Road. One person was taken to the hospital for treatment for their injuries. Police say this was an isolated event, and the investigation continues. One person is arrested for the death of a man over the weekend. Little Rock police arrested 19-year-old Dante Blackman for the death of 24-year-old Cornelius Johnson. It happened at 3200 Coleman Place on Saturday. Johnson was suffering from gunshot wounds when police arrived. He was taken to the hospital where he died. Blackman was charged with capital murder. For more news and weather, download the free KTV News and weather apps from the Channel 7 Newsroom. I'm Ryan Houston.
Clint Sterner joins Justin and Wes in the zone, courtesy of Motorsports Authority. Motorsports Authority has 2 great locations with hundreds of vehicles to choose from. Check them out online at msastore.com. Clint Sterner in the zone, brought to you by Motorsports Authority on your fun and game station, 103.7 The Buzz.
Weather from the Fletcher Weather Center with Channel 7's Melinda Mayo.
Today will be the warmest day of the work week with highs back up in the upper 80s. Clouds will increase today and late tonight into Tuesday morning. The chance of a few scattered showers. A front moves through, though, low 80s expected the rest of the week. From the Channel 7 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Melinda Mayo.
Fletcher Dodge wants to buy your car. We'll buy any make or model, and we'll pay you more than anyone else. Please turn your old car into cash at Fletcher Dodge in Sherwood.
Roger Scott for Alcoa Community Federal Credit Union and their Casasa checking accounts. With Casasa, earn up to 6% APY, cash rewards with no minimum balance, and refunds on ATM fees. Stop by Alcoa's new branch in Sheridan and open a free Casasa checking account or apply securely online at alcoacommunityfcu.org.
This year, we considered hiring an ad agency to help with our marketing.
They pitched impressive visuals and a script that was inspiring.
And exotic animal mascots to help grab your attention.
In the end, we just decided to tell it to you straight. Shelter Insurance has award-winning customer service at affordable rates.
Plus, our local agents are there to help you understand what coverage you need.
See Shelter Agent Paul Griffin in Monticello, Sam Eklund in Star City, or Kyle Stone in Pine Bluff.
Willie D's Rock and Roll Piano Bar open every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Cold drinks and dueling pianos. Deep Nightclub downstairs hosts karaoke on Tuesdays and DJ Spin on Friday and Saturday nights. Visit WillieD'sPianoBar.com.
This is the Pigskin Preacher bringing you the word. On a sweltering summer day in 2012, a couple pulled up to the Villa Lobos dog shelter in Louisiana and dropped off a little 12-week-old puppy like a bag of garbage. The emaciated little dog was taken in and cared for and put up for adoption, but no one took her. For weeks or for months, she was ignored and stayed in the shelter for 11 years. This sweet little dog named Vanessa is now old and gray. A kind woman from Delaware heard her story and opened her heart and home to Vanessa, where her final years will be the best of her life, where she will be loved. Just like that dear lady who welcomed Vanessa into her home, you will be greeted with a warm welcome to Doublebee's, because we're here for you. Doublebee's. It's where you gas it, grab it, and go. That's Doublebee's.
In sports, every coach is looking for the winning combination. Arch Marine in North Little Rock is no different. The reason being, they have the winning combination. G3 boats with a Yamaha motor. Your granddaddy trusted Arch Marine, so can you.
The Boys and Girls Club of Central Arkansas and
ESPN Radio Extra Point with Peter Burns.
When I hear the calm, rational, teaching moments, verbiage that Nick Saban uses, that means that he's being a little bit easy on his team because he knows that they aren't as good as a lot of people think. I've seen this. When he gets upset, when he uses when he is fiery in a press conference, you better understand and buckle up that Bama team might not be beaten the rest of the year. This was hey, this is a midterm in week 2, which is kind of crazy to hear. This is a team that he knows that this quarterback play is not good enough, where everybody's going to get tape and it's just going to keep coming like this. And they knew exactly. They put everybody in the box to try to stop this rushing attack, this vaunted rushing attack. They blitzed them 50%. They knew Jalen Milroe was going to make mistakes. He did. And they know now that blueprint is out and he can't go to the whip on these guys like a jockey trying to get something out of his thoroughbreds.
The NFL is back, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is giving you a can't-miss offer for Week 1. New customers can get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 on any NFL game. Plus, all customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every single game day in September. New customers, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code OUTCOME and take home $200 in bonus bets instantly just for betting $5. That's code OUTCOME, only on DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. See dkng.go/football for eligibility, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply.
Live from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios, this is Out of Bounds.
We're just not knocking them off the football right now, and we're not blocking particularly well on the edge. We're just not blocking particularly well, period. And you know, AJ got in a little bit of a groove there at the end, and R-Dub, but we're just not a real physical football team. I thought we got a little bit better in the second half, but we've got to continue to maybe we have too many runs in going into the game. We got to figure that out.
Yeah. With John Nabors.
Every time you put a mic in my face, I'm going to say Arkansas.
And Joe Franklin.
We won't go in the shell. We're going to go in attack mode because that's what's required.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
Girl, I can buy your Westie girl with my base stuff. I know that it's good. Won't you sit it on my taste buds? I get way too busy once you let me do the extras. Pull up on your block and break it down. We playing Tetris. AM to the PM, PM to the AM phone. Eat up your per diem. You just gotta hate them phone. My left stroke just went viral. Right stroke put a baby in a spiral. Soprano C, we like to keep it on the high note. It's levels to it, you and I know. Tell them be humble. Sit down. Be humble. Sit down. Be humble. Sit down. Be humble. Sit down. Be humble.
1 hour down, 2 hours to go. Appreciate everybody listening in on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. John Nabors, Joe Franklin, broadcasting live from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios with you today. And thank you as always for making us a part of your afternoon. This afternoon, it's been a great reaction Monday presented by Fleet Management Services. Want to continue to get those reactions here on the show. You can call or text in at 501-661-1037. Get after us in the Asher Record Live fan feedback. After me on Twitter at Buzz John Nabors. I know we talked a lot about the Razorback football game and college football weekend too, and what's trending in the world of sports and best and worst of the weekend here this hour. But as far as like feelings of football fan bases, is there a worse feeling fan base right now after the weekend than like the New York Giants fan base after that game last night?
Yeah, there could be a few.
Man.
But that's a division rival, and you go into that game, especially riding high off what happened last season with the Giants getting into the playoffs, winning a game, and then the expectations that they had coming into this year where they added to that team, added some pieces that they felt good in certain areas. Daniel Jones got a new contract, so they were feeling good. And then Saquon Barkley, their guy that even though he's on the franchise tag, he's back for a year. So they wanted to come in and build on what they already had. And just to get shut out like that and the game just completely get out of hand early, it was definitely disappointing for them.
40-0. Like it was a weird thing. Just from the get-go, I guess it was the Giants had a little bit going there, offensively. And then when the blocked field goal happened and returned for a touchdown, it seemed like that was all she wrote. After that, there was just no coming back from it. So just a little weird to see that much of a blowout, especially in a road game, division team. And to 40-0, and seeing Daniel Jones in as late as he was too, I thought was a little interesting. It's like the game was over, man. Why was he in the fourth quarter? Didn't understand that one.
Sometimes you need to have players play through certain situations like that. Now, of course, you want to weigh it and make sure you're not taking a chance on your franchise quarterback or other players that you're really depending on getting hurt. But sometimes you want them to play through that and realize that, some of these things are going to happen, and at least try to see something positive going forward, and then not send the message where it's like, okay, we gave up, on this game. Now the game's out of hand. It's not winnable, but you gave up on it. And now you want to send that message like we got to have something else in there or somebody else in there to try to piece it together. Tyrod Taylor did go in the game late and for good reasons, but you leave him in there and let him kind of see some of those things and know that if things don't go right, this is something that can happen.
Well, it definitely went all right for the Cowboys. I mean, just from beginning to end, having a game like that is a great way for them to start. And I'm sure, some Cowboys fans out there are not overreacting whatsoever. But no, it was a great win for them and a great start for them. Was that the biggest surprise from the NFL weekend so far?
No. Bigger surprises, and these were division games. The Seahawks getting beat at home by the Rams, and that was a game that kind of went back and forth for a while. And then the Rams took control of it. But the way that the Packers beat the Bears.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That and going into that game, the Bears, they come in with some expectations this year because that division seems wide open. And the Packers seem to have just picked up where they left off last year, playing at a higher level. And we know the situation with Aaron Rodgers and all the talk about Jordan Love and him not being able to live up to it. Well, he definitely lived up to it in this first game. And then the Packers had a really good game plan and running the ball. They have a good offensive line. So they're going to be better than most people may have expected by losing a key piece at the quarterback position. And Jordan Love, if he's able to go in and just execute the offense the way that they've done it over the past few years, they're going to be fine.
Yeah, I think that was impressive just because of the expectation. You mentioned Jordan Love. All that pressure's on him. All right, okay, because was it the first time since 1994 or whatever that the starting quarterback for Green Bay is not named Favre or Rodgers? I mean, you think about him moving on and now being with the Jets, and everyone's looking at it, it's like, okay, so what's this Jordan Love going to be? Is he going to be, they got to take on after a guy, an iconic, a Hall of Fame quarterback, Aaron Rodgers? How's it going to go? And being on the road against a division rival, for him to perform that way in the first game is pretty reassuring. And I feel like it's probably something that can make Packers fans feel a lot better about it, where it's like, okay, well, with all that expectation and pressure on him in his very first game as being the guy, he certainly lived up to it going on the road in a tough place to play like Soldier Field.
Matt LaFleur with the play calling, too, it was perfect. It was perfect for what they wanted to do and how they wanted to execute. So it looked good all around. And after this one game, you can't say that they're going to be one of the better teams in the NFC, but you see that the pieces are still there to kind of make that happen. And we know that things can change after one game. But one that a lot of people may be surprised by, but if you look into what's happened, it's not really surprising. Bengals and the Browns.
Yeah.
And the Browns able to win that game convincingly. Now, they've had some close games, and the Bengals haven't had success against them, but the way it was convincing, and it's surprising in the fact that those receivers don't really get involved in a game. Joe Burrow, less than 100 yards passing, and that is by far the lowest output he's ever had.
Yeah, that was weird seeing that. 14 of 31, 82 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. He did get sacked twice. And of course, everyone correlates it with, became the richest player ever in the NFL history, just signed this contract, and this is how he follows it up, which I'm like, to me, that doesn't matter. He's still Joe Burrow. But like you mentioned last week, Joe, when we were doing our picks, this particular game of Cleveland and Cincinnati is always one that seems to be a tough one for Cincinnati, no matter what time of year, no matter what it is, kind of like with the Giants and Cowboys. Seems like Dak Prescott, what'd you say, he was undefeated against the Giants?
Yeah, Dak is undefeated against the Giants.
Yeah, so maybe there's just something about it to where they know it, they figure it out. And I saw a stat that the Bengals had lost, they've gone 1-4 in their last 5 season openers. Still had some really good years, and they probably still will have a really good year, but yeah, seeing that blowout and seeing the rain coming down and everything, it was just a nasty game for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Now, if we're still talking about surprises, the Bucks and Vikings.
Ooh, yeah.
Bucks going into Minnesota and getting a win. Now, that was a game that went back and forth, and there was thought to be drop off with the Bucks based on a lot of things that they lost, and they go in and get a win, a big win in week 1.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it just shows you at the Bucks, they don't need Tom Brady. They got Baker. Baker's in there getting things done. All right.
He played well, though.
He did.
He played well. The receivers played well, and it was a bit of a surprise as far as how they looked.
Yeah, because I mean, Kirk Cousins, he threw for 344 yards, 2 touchdowns. So he had a pretty solid game there. But yeah, I got to give a lot of credit to the Bucks, and because they didn't even run the ball. In fact, I saw that. I guess last year the Bucks were one of the worst rushing teams in the NFL, if not the worst rushing team in the NFL. And so
they had a lot of injuries with that offensive line going into the season.
Yeah.
So that's a major difference they were looking at.
Yeah. But for them to go on the road and beat a Minnesota team that's also in that division that's wide open, it's basically looking like the Lions and the Packers sitting atop of it, just like we all thought it would be after 1 week.
Raiders and Broncos. That was a close game, but the Raiders come out with a win. Nobody was saying that the Raiders were going to win that game.
Yeah, that's one of the ones on my Bet Saracen app that I won some good money because I bet the under and I got it. So I was very happy to see that not be a high scoring game. But yeah, that was, again, that's what I like about having these divisional games. This first part of the season and first week of the season is not only get some rivalry, get some juice going with it, but it really sets up for the teams that win, kind of get ahead of the curve a little bit, ahead of the game. And that was another big one where the Chiefs have already lost, as we know, on Thursday night. And now the Raiders taking care of business with Jimmy G as the starting quarterback. That was big for them. Also, the Saints. How about the Saints? Because I was not expecting them to I think I picked against the Saints in this weekend against the Titans, but they got the victory over the Titans 16-15.
Close game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a close game that went back and forth. Now, one that is not a surprise, 49ers and Steelers. Now, it's a surprise based on expectations of thinking that this was going to be a competitive game, and it wasn't from the start. It was 49ers. They controlled it. There was no answer for Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah.
And Brock Purdy was able to make those throws and make the throws look easy because of the fact that Brandon Ayuk is getting open the way he was. So, there were problems with the secondary, with the linebackers, and Brandon Ayuk was just running free, which opened up something that you knew was going to be a problem going into the game with Christian McCaffrey. So it was nothing but the 49ers. They put on display just how good they are. And then it showed that the Steelers, for this game, nobody showed up as far as if you want to look at some of the philosophies, the coaching, the execution being there. There was one player that showed up for that team. It was TJ Watt. And outside of TJ Watt, nobody did anything positive. So you can't do it with one player. You have to have a full team effort. In this case, it was a full team failure. And with the focus, everybody is looking at Kenny Pickett, but this was a full team failure. Now, we talk about how coaches and quarterbacks, they get all the credit, and whenever there's a loss, they get all the blame. Not all the blame goes on Kenny Pickett, but there's a lot to be pointed his way, but he had a lot of help also.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest. I was again one of those people that had Ayuk on my bench in my fantasy football, so that was great. But I was surprised to see that San Francisco is a really good team. I mean, they've got a lot of good things going for them. But yeah, it was a little, I'm sure, disappointed as a Steelers fan to see that be the first game. To have that to where so many issues across the board being not showing up and not from the get go not showing up. It was just disappointing. I'm
So
sure.
last year they were by far the youngest team in the league, and over the offseason, they added some veteran pieces that they felt good about. But once again, none of them showed up. Nobody showed up. TJ Watt was the only one that was putting forth the effort, and he was the one that really gave him a chance in certain situations, and they still weren't able to capitalize on it. Brock Purdy made a play in the game where TJ Watt actually sacked him, stripped him, and Brock Purdy was able to recover the ball behind his back.
I did
So
see
that was it was one of those crazy plays that it's unexpected. You never would think you'd see something like that, but it just showed how everything was going the 49ers way. They played to a certain level, but and they made all those plays, and they were getting all the bounces also to go with it. Kind of like with the Cowboys. The Cowboys had everything going their way, where you see a Giants receiver late in the game catches a ball, he's running over the middle. Trayvon Diggs, he comes and makes a play on the ball, and they strip the ball out. So sometimes, games like that, everything is just going your way.
Yeah, it's just one of those games. I did learn, though, that you can have possession of the ball behind your back as long as you have both hands on it. So,
it before he even had both hands on it, he just had one hand on the ball, and he had it firmly pinned to his back. So that does say it's possession because he's laying on the ball, so they consider him down at that point. He has possession of the ball. He's being touched, so he's being considered down.
Yeah,
with possession of the ball.
See, I didn't even know. I thought it was always just about having on the actual possession here, like in front. But yeah, I mean, because by rule, it does constitute that, and when that type of stuff, as you mentioned, goes a certain way, then it's just your day, and it was San Francisco's day that day. So, but hey, what is it? 16 more games for everybody. Still a lot of season, even if your team starts 0-1. Still a lot of season left. Let's go to BB, who's in Little Rock and patiently holding. What's up, BB?
Good afternoon, man. How you doing?
Good.
Doing great, man.
Oh, good. And by the way, John, again, you have a very nice podcast on YouTube that I encourage everybody to watch who thinks anything about Razorback football, because you're right up there with the best of them.
Well, I appreciate that, BB. Thank you so much.
You better believe it. Went to see Mr. Tony Dorsett. I would say very entertaining, very funny for a guy that has said that he's had CTE and things like that. He's, I think, on top of his very sharp. Had a lot of different pictures with Emmitt Smith, Coach Landry, Herschel Walker. He's really entertaining. I got a kick out of that. Falling back to the Razorbacks, though, we have some real bright spots, and that Tesla, I'm going to tell you something. He's going to make some money in the NFL. If he stays healthy, that kid is a absolute epitome of a possession receiver because he got down on the ground, caught it between two guys. I mean, I'm anxious to see how he's going to do against these SEC guys. Landon Jackson, he is a player from Malaya. I mean, if you saw 42 play last year, Landon Jackson was right on top of the play right along with Drew Sanders, and he's a bigger version of that. So that kid is an absolute stud. He's going to make a bunch of money in the NFL. We got a bunch of other bright spots. We got, 8 or 9 we can roll in and out of the defensive line. I think they're holding back a little bit of stuff till we get to LSU based on the offense. Of course, we got some young guys on the offensive line, but that happens, and I think they're going to gel. But I think everything's going to start coming together. But the defense is much better than it was last year. Your opinion?
Well, I'll tell you, BB, I think that the defense is, as we've seen so far, looks to be improved. It still needs to see some more games against some good competition. They'll have that this weekend, but I think the defense is improved. I think Tesla is all as advertised as far as his possession receiver game, and Landon Jackson's also there is a reason why they brought him to SEC Media Days because they knew what he was capable of. I think there's as much as we've talked about the struggles with the offensive line and just running the ball and being physical, that's all warranted and all real. There's still some positives. There's still some good things and some bright spots, as you mentioned, that it's looked pretty good so far. So it's just.
Well, I think Armstrong's a hey of a player too, and he's going to show
great.
up big time as we go forward. But you guys enjoy the rest of the afternoon, and I like the show.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks, BB. Thanks for calling in. Yeah, still some good things to look at and to be encouraged by, but some concerns too. That's what makes it a nice little balance of everything. Let's see, from our Southern Structural Solutions text line, 501 says, I'm shocked by how bad the Steelers looked on Sunday. Huh?
Yeah, that may be something to dive into, and as far as because they had expectations based on how they played ending the season last year, what they added. But 49ers are on a different level.
Yeah, and I mean they look dominant there. Also from the Southern Structural Solutions text line from 501 says, how come when you're talking about the 40-0 loss for the Giants, you didn't mention that the Cowboys beat them or mention that any of the Cowboy players' names? Well, we did mention that the Cowboys beat them 40-0. Like we did mention that. But it was,
well, he's saying names. Trayvon Diggs was the one that, was mentioned, but it's like there's not, it was just a dominating performance on all fronts.
All around. I mean,
and that Dak is undefeated against the Giants.
That's right. It was crazy. He didn't even throw a touchdown pass last night. He only threw 143 yards and didn't have a touchdown, but Tony Pollard had 2 touchdowns. Turpin had 1 touchdown. And of course, we know the blocked field goal return for a touchdown. And defense and special teams showed up for the Cowboys for sure. And then we already got a prediction from the 501, 38-20 Arkansas with Isaac TeSlaa scoring first. All right, I'll sign up for that. Yeah, go ahead and make that happen. We'll get to that point, and if Arkansas wins, that's all that matters. Also, Savage on our Asher Record Live fan feedback says, talk about Jalen Shelley, the number 43 player in the top 100 who just signed with Arkansas basketball. Well, very important. He has not signed. He's committed. So I want to put that out there. But yeah, we're actually going to do that. What's trending in the world of sports? But again, had some phone calls coming in. They got him a good one with him being one of the best players. He had offers to Louisville, to Alabama. He's probably 6'8", 205 pounds, I believe, a left-hander. Really skilled guy. He's a top 50 player coming out of high school, and he'll be on the team next year. So yeah, I mean, it's funny how that happens, and it's a great player to get, but it's almost like, that's next year. It's an eon from now. You don't really know what's going to happen or what's going to transpire. But
he does look like an exciting player. The way he finishes and around the rim, the way that he's able to get to the rim and get to his spots. He looks like a really good player.
Oh yeah, and what's funny is he actually plays football too. He's a wide receiver out of the place he's coming from, at least according to his 24/7 sports profile. So. That's always nice to have a multi-sport guy. especially in the football and the wide receiver game. Anthony Black was that way, and he talked about how much that helped him. So, freak athlete, really good, and he's from Frisco, Texas, down there at Link Academy. So, nice get for Eric Musselman for the Razorback basketball team. But we'll have some best and worst of the weekend coming up next. We'll talk about some of the things we liked and what we didn't like, and we are going to keep it moving here on Reaction Monday, presented by Fleet Management Services on Out of Bounds. And as a reminder, folks, that me and Joe, we're going to be live on location tomorrow at Arkansas Urology down in Whitehall. So looking forward to doing a live show down there for their kickoff to Men's Health. We're always excited to be a part of it.
It's always a fun show. Every September, we look forward to going to Arkansas Urology in Jefferson County.
Yep, it's going to be a lot of fun. So I want to remind everybody, if you're out there, come by and see us tomorrow. But we got more Out of Bounds coming up, so stay with us.
For interior, exterior, commercial, and residential painting, hire the pros at CertaPro Painters. Get your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
This is SportsCenter.
In week 1 of the NFL, there were a few surprising results. The Browns beat the Bengals 24-3. Joe Burrow was just 14 of 31 for 82 yards as the Bengals managed to get only 142 total yards of offense. Then on Sunday Night Football, the Cowboys dominated the Giants 40-0. New York shot themselves in the foot repeatedly, committing 3 turnovers. It was the Cowboys' biggest shutout victory in any game, topping their 38-0 win over the Baltimore Colts in 1978. Tonight in the NFL, it'll be an AFC showdown on Monday Night Football as the Jets host the Bills for Aaron Rodgers' debut. Kickoff is set for 7:15. The game will be joined in progress on The Buzz at 8 o'clock. I'm Christian Weaver with The Buzz Radio Network.
This is David Dunn with Central Arkansas Truck and Trailer. Do you own or operate Max, Volvos, Freightliners, Kenworths, Peterbilts, or international trucks? We can offer you the same dealership level computer diagnostics with highly trained and professional mechanics without dealership wait times and cost. Whether you're a municipality, fleet, or small business with one truck, come see why our customers have made us the highest rated independent repair shop in Arkansas. Central Arkansas Truck and Trailer. Take exit 7 on I-440 or call 568-2185.
Oaklawn Racing Casino Resort presents Oaklawn Game Day. It's an inside look at the week's big games, exciting prop bets, and the latest betting lines from Oaklawn Sportsbook. Justin Acri and Oaklawn's Director of Sports Wagering, Zach Gillum, give you all the information you need to place your bets at Oaklawn. Catch it on The Buzz Wednesday at 8 p.m. and again Thursday mornings at 5:30 before Morning Mayhem. Oaklawn Game Day on your fun and game station, 103.7 The Buzz.
Having pain like that and not knowing how you caused it and for how long it's lasting, it's debilitating.
QC Kinetics patient Diane Richardson hated not being able to live her life to the fullest due to joint pain. But then she called QC Kinetics, where regenerative treatments helped her pain go away.
The result was phenomenal.
QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in using natural biologics to restore and repair damaged joint tissue.
This was a great alternative for me as opposed to going in and possibly having surgery or something else. There was no downtime, and that's what I loved. My life is too busy for me to be sidelined.
If you're tired of constant pain from arthritis or injury, don't think the old treatments are the only treatments. Discover regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics.
Just to feel good and know that I'm out of pain is the best thing ever. I'm able to do everything that I want to do.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 501-222-8440. That's 501-222-8440. 501-222-8440.
It's Justin Anker reminding you that CertaPro Painters is here to help you as we transition from summer into fall. And if you're thinking about doing something to the outside of your home, maybe it's long overdue, CertaPro Painters is here to help. Have them come over, give you an estimate, and they can help walk you through the process of what it'll take to get it done. They can help you out with the color selection and everything else you need to get the job done right. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. For your home, for your business, get your place looking right with the help of my friends at CertaPro Painters.
Hi, I'm Rick Pennington of Lions Drug. We have great news. Generic Cialis is now available at a huge savings. We have Tadalafil, the FDA-approved generic of Cialis, in a 20-milligram tablet at a savings of up to 80%. We have the 5-milligram daily tablets for less than $3 a pill. Lions Drug continues to be your go-to pharmacy for men's health. What are you waiting for? Call us today at 844-676-2247 or go to our website at lionsdrug.com.
Make your tailgate the party of the parking lot by getting the best meats in all of Arkansas at Hoggs Meat Market, the steak people. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
I'm going to stick my dick in the mashed potatoes. Go Hogs.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
Yeah. And you say Shot City? Shot City? Shot City? I'm coming home again. Do you think about me now and then? Yeah. Do you think about me now and then? 'Cause I'm coming home again. Home again. I met this girl when I was 3 years old, and what I love most, she had so much soul. She said, "Excuse me, little homie, I know you don't know me, but my name is Wendy, and I like to." And from that point, I never blow her off. Come from out of town, I like to show her off. They like to act tough, she like to tone.
It's a great time to get to Twin Peaks for happy hour, 2 to 7. Later happy hour, 10 to close. Enjoy all the food and drink specials that go along with it. Get a lunch combo starting as low as $7.99. If you want to take some food to go, you can order online, curbside, or to go, courtesy of Postmates, DoorDash, and Uber Eats. Great drink specials during happy hour. Apps for $2, $4, and $6. Today, September 11th, it's the last day to donate to Tunnel to Towers. And if you do that, for every $5 that's donated to the organization, Twin Peaks is going to offer a $5 bonus card that can be redeemed starting tomorrow through the end of September. Now, you can donate to Tunnel to Towers at any time, but to redeem the $5 bonus cards for every $5 at Twin Peaks, today is the last day to do it. And what a day to do it on September 11th, in remembrance of September 11th. Get by Twin Peaks, donate to a great cause, and you'll get some bonus cards back for it. Twin Peaks is a great place to watch all the sports action. They have plenty of seating inside and out, wall-to-wall TVs to see it all. Plenty of college football, NFL, Major League Baseball is going on. No matter the sport, you're going to be able to see it at Twin Peaks. Get some wings at Twin Peaks and try the hottest sauce yet. Get your wings sauced and tossed and try the hottest sauce that they have at Twin Peaks. It's Twin Peaks. Eat, drink, scenic views.
It's a Reaction Monday presented by Fleet Management Services here on Out of Bounds. And today is September 11th, 9/11, which of course is a day which will live in infamy and a lot of remembrance for today on what happened back in 2001. It's amazing. It's been 22 years since that point in time, but definitely something we're remembering. It's one of those things. I know where I was, Joe, like I'm sure you do too. Like, where were you like when it was going down that morning? Like, you remember exactly what was going on?
Yeah. So I was asleep. I stay up late. I mean, nothing has changed from then to what it is now, but I stay up late. I was asleep, but I was awakened with a phone call to say, hey, you need to turn on the TV, see what's going on right now. The country is under attack, and we're not really sure what's going on.
Yeah. Well, it's something that like I was in actually middle school. I was in the 7th grade when it all went. And the thing is even though I was younger, I still remember it well. I was actually at McNair Middle School in Fayetteville, and Mr. Rhodes' homeroom class is where I was at. And I remember every morning, for those of you who probably remember, I don't know if they still have them today, but those big like towers, those rolling towers that would have a tube television on top, that would just be able to roll around. He always would watch the news every single morning when we walked in there. Like, it doesn't matter if it was on, I don't remember if it was Fox News, CNN, it was something like that, but he was always watching the news. And I got to see it live. And just because at the first, remember we walk in and we see it happening, and his response was, he's like, what? He's like, I don't know what kind of idiot's running a plane into the World Trade Center, because no one thought about it. And then of course that's about when the second plane hit. So it's definitely a crazy, crazy day, and it's very important to remember, and all of the lives that were lost that day, and it was a tragedy. But man, it's definitely something that nobody will ever forget, and one of those deals that everyone remembers where they were when it happened too. So. But yeah, 22 years. It's incredible. It was that long ago. 22 years.
Yeah, and it seems like it wasn't long ago where the memories, they're not vague. The memories are vivid. Exactly what was going on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it's a Reaction Monday, and we got to talk about some of our highlights and lowlights. So let's jump right into it.
It was the best of times.
In your life, have you seen anything like that?
It was the worst of times.
Nuts and bolts, we got screwed. Third down.
It's time for the best and worst of the weekend on Out of Bounds.
All right, it is time for best and worst of the weekend. Real quickly, I'll go ahead and give my best of the weekend. And as much as it pains me to say it, shout out to Texas. The Horns, the Hook'em. Yeah, shout out to them. Because they went into Bama. Everyone was doubting. I was someone that doubted them. They had all the jokes getting made. Oh, Texas is back. Texas isn't back. They had all these losses. They got creamed and everything. But they went in there and they took care of business against Alabama. And I saw something that Peter Burns of the SEC Network tweeted out that I thought was pretty fascinating. Speaking of an Arkansas connection, he said that one of the best things that ever happened to Steve Sarkisian in Texas was how they lost to Arkansas a couple of years ago, because that's when that's kind of a thing of like, hey, in the SEC, this is the type of teams that you're going to go up against, the physicality, the speed and everything. And he went out and he got them, and he got that level of athlete, and they took care of business. So again, I don't like Texas. I don't really care for Bama either, but got to give credit where credit was due. Them going in and taking care and beating Bama by double digits in their home stadium was really impressive.
Best of Travis Hunter, who played 89% of Colorado's offensive and defensive plays, 125 of 140 possible plays. The guy stays on the field. He never comes off the field, and it's really impressive to see somebody play a football game in that manner.
Well, I was going to kind of piggyback off of that. Best of the weekend also to Colorado. I was someone that was still a little reserved about them. Didn't really know, after one game, how they're going to follow it up. Well, they followed it up pretty well. Now, Nebraska is not, just a next-level team, but they're still a solid team, a D1 program, a Power 5 program, and they took care of business. And so what's Colorado's ceiling this year? Don't really know. I'm still not going to go to the point to where some people are saying, college football playoff contenders. Still got a schedule in front of them, still got some big games, but starting to be a believer in what they're doing, and they're looking really good, and they're really fun to watch too, and really exciting. So another best of the weekend to Colorado, following up that great performance against TCU with an equally great performance, maybe even better against Nebraska.
Best to Coco Gauff and Novak Djokovic. Coco Gauff gets her first U.S. Open championship. Novak Djokovic, he adds to the record, number 24.
Yeah, not too bad for him in the amount of majors that he's won. Dude's an absolute animal. Worst of the weekend, though, I could go a bunch of different directions here, but worst of the weekend, I was going to say the Giants' performance last night. I know we've talked about it, but it's not, and just make sure everyone knows, I'm not taking anything away from the Dallas Cowboys. They took advantage. They played great and everything, but man, to have it to where it's such an emotional night because of, the 22 years with September 11th, and then knowing that's a division game, knowing you're trying to take that step forward, knowing you got some good players, you got some pieces, you got Saquon Barkley back, you got all this stuff going for you, and you get skunked at home by 40. You don't even score a point. That's you got a long season in front of you, but that's not going to inspire anybody. And that was just a real disappointment, especially on Sunday Night Football after a great day of football. To have that snoozer where a lot of people were turning it off early because it was already well in hand. Not the performance that anybody was hoping or expecting to see, especially if you're a Giants fan. So that was one of the worst of the weekend for me.
A best of Sean Strickland getting the upset at UFC 293 for the middleweight championship. He beat Israel Adesanya. So that was an upset there, but a best to Sean Strickland for coming away with the win. Nobody was talking about him or gave him a shot to win that belt and that fight that night, but he comes away as the middleweight champion.
Another worst of the weekend. How about this? They start changing rules in college football to have hey, first downs, don't stop the clock, because they want the game to move a little bit faster, right? Well, according to the studies after 2 weeks, guess what? The games aren't getting over anytime sooner. In fact, they're lasting longer. The average length of a football game right now is 3.5 hours. Exactly. All right. Last year was 3 hours and 27 minutes. The year before, 328. The year before, 328. The year before, 318, 320, 320, 324. Right now, it's on pace to be longer than any other season that we've seen in the history of college football. So what does that tell you? The games didn't get shorter like we all knew. Just the commercial breaks got longer. So that's another thing that I just hated seeing, because it's don't try to constantly say it's about speeding the game up or player safety or any of that nonsense. It's about commercials, and you are getting longer games than what you even realize. So another worst to that to the weekend.
Worst to Giants, Steelers, and Bears beaten at home and convincingly in what were thought to be winnable games and more competitive games. But those were the three teams that probably looked the worst and they were all playing at home. And 2 of those were division games.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to throw in another worst of the weekend as far as the college football games from this past weekend. You know, there's some good ones, but there were some teams that just did not look great, just did not look up to snuff, and struggled a little bit. Arkansas being one of those teams, and the SEC in general just has not looked strong. It's still a solid conference, but the SEC West especially, I mean, I don't even know what to make of it right now. Like, yeah, Bama and LSU are still probably the better teams, but I mean, are you feeling good about their chances of winning a national championship? I don't. Or A&M, the way they got skunked by Alabama or Miami there in Miami? Absolutely not. So just the SEC West, college football and the better teams in general, they have not looked great so far, and not a good showing for a division that's still pretty wide open, though. I mean, still could have something. In fact, Arkansas is right there on top of the standings, just because they haven't lost a game. But them, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, all trying to navigate through it. But yeah, college football teams that are supposed to step up, they did not have the greatest showing this past weekend. So there you have it.
Yeah, I want to take a minute to recognize how the NFL did the schedule as far as turning the stadium with the Giants playing on Sunday Night Football and now the Jets playing on Monday Night Football. Kind of a unique deal. They share a stadium, but being able to turn it from the Giants colors and everything with them to the Jets tonight, and it is around September 11th. And because of that scheduling, Stephon Diggs and Trayvon Diggs both played in the same stadium, with Trayvon playing for the Cowboys and Stephon playing for the Bills, both visiting teams. But because of that, their mom got a chance, and their families got a chance to just enjoy the environment of last night's game. They'll get a chance to do it in tonight's game. Stephon playing tonight, he was able to go to the game last night. So a pretty unique situation, and not that the NFL had that in mind for them in particular, but just in remembrance of September 11th and having both those teams being showcased in that stadium in New York on Sunday night and Monday Night Football. Just a great deal for the way that they scheduled that.
Yeah, really cool story too to be able to have that, and it should be a great one tonight. And I'm hoping, for my sake, for the Jets' sake, it should be a great one. But we're up against it. I know we got some people on hold. We'll get to your phone calls and text messages on the other side. We'll also have your Razor Hog update presented by True Service. We're going to keep making it happen here on Out of Bounds on Reaction Monday, presented by Fleet Management Services. So you better stay with us.
Fellas, Clint Sterner here. Let me get your attention real quick, man. If you've noticed a lack of energy, motivation, and drive, it could be low T. What's that mean? If you want to get back to feeling your best, you need to schedule your health assessment at Low T Center ASAP. It's quick, it's easy, and now it's convenient. Low T Center offers monitored self-inject at-home testosterone treatments for $155 a month, cash pay, or covered by most health insurance. If you don't live near a Low T Center, or you just need the convenience of at-home treatment, Low T Center got you. They'll ship your treatments directly to your home. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book online. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
This is a public service announcement for hard seltzer lovers. Neutral Vodka Seltzer has arrived. Made with simple ingredients like vodka, seltzer, and real juice. Neutral tastes good. Like real good. So good that you'll never want to drink another artificial tasting seltzer again. Neutral's light and refreshing taste will show you what a vodka seltzer can be. Try Neutral, the one with the umlaut. Copyright 2023 Neutral Distilled Spirit Specialty, Los Angeles, California. Enjoy responsibly.
Allow us to introduce ourselves. We are Big O Tires. However, we might as well go by Big O Tires, alignments, batteries, brakes, oil changes, suspensions, and free visual inspection upon arrival, because we do all that and more. But that name seems a little long and it won't fit on our sign. Now at Big O Tires in Conway and Cabot, take $100 off select sets of tires. That's right, save $100 right now off select sets of tires and get tires, service, and straight talk at Big O Tires.
Greenway is your local source for John Deere equipment and implements. Now, we've made finding the perfect piece of equipment even easier. Shop our tractor packages online at gogreenway.com. Till deeper with our down-to-earth package. Or save big with our Green Saver package. Need something with a little more muscle? Kick it up a notch with Greenway's Get In Gear package. We're here to support the DIYer in you. No matter what project comes your way, Greenway has you covered.
This is Pat Bradley for River City Flooring, where you can pick your payment. Get 0% interest for 12, 24, or 36 months. And River City Flooring in Maumelle is where you'll save 50% on all in-stock waterproof LVP flooring. And did you know River City Flooring carries cabinets? So stop in and let my friends at River City Flooring help you with your remodel. Kitchen, bath, living, dining, they do it all. Check out River City Flooring in Maumelle at their huge new showroom on Maumelle Boulevard just off 430.
Do you need rainwater, Holt, and Sexton? Anywhere in the state, dial 888-8888. It really is just that easy. If you've been injured and need help, it doesn't matter where in Arkansas you are. Just dial 888-8888. We'll come to you. I'm Mike Rainwater of Rainwater, Holt, and Sexton. We have been thankfully serving Arkansans for years, and we appreciate the trust you've put in us. We work hard for you, Arkansas, each and every day. Anywhere in the state, dial 8.
We're back with Wild Bill at Motorsports Authority. Great selection here on the lot, but what about my trade-in, Wild Bill?
We'll trade for just about anything as long as you don't have to feed it. We'll put top dollar in that trade. I'm getting country fried crazy during this sale right now, and I'll tell you what, folks, it's a lot of fun to do business with us. So if you're wanting top dollar for your trade, you need to come see us.
You can check out the complete selection online at msastore.com. Better yet, come see us in Russellville on East Main, in Hot Springs on Central. You better get down here to Motorsports Authority.
Touchdown!
Of course, you have many options when it comes to great dining options downtown, but there's only one, Dizzy's Gypsy Bistro, still offering a wide selection of all your favorite special craft cocktails, including beer and wine, and a menu featuring gourmet salads and delicious pastas. And Dizzy's is also the multiple-time winner of the World Cheese Dip Competition. With a dog-friendly patio, a funky eclectic atmosphere, and room for large parties with reservations, Dizzy's will have you coming back again and again. Since 1995, Dizzy's Gypsy Bistro, Dizzy'sLR.com.
Have a watch party that everyone wants to attend at your house with the best of meats in the business. Hoggs Meat Market, the steak people. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
Hey! Turn that damn jukebox
on 103.7 The Buzz.
Through the city on a 4th of July.
It's Reaction Monday, presented by Fleet Management Services here on Out of Bounds. Going to have Chris Gordy joining us of Sports Talk 790. We'll recap the college football and NFL weekend with him on the other side of the break. So looking forward to that. We'll have your Razor Hog updates as well. So just trying to make it all work here on I want to call them an easy Monday show because they're always Mondays are always really easy during football season. But hey, that's what makes it fun. Just be able to talk about everything that happened over the weekend of sports and plenty of football storylines and headlines to work through too.
Best game of the day yesterday, Dolphins and Chargers.
Oh, it was incredible.
Going back and forth, and then Tua and Tyreek Hill, the performance that they had. Tua, 466 yards passing, and Tyreek Hill, 215 receiving. It was just amazing what they were able to do and come away with the win. And the Chargers were there, so it was a game that went back and forth.
Yeah, it should have been a worst of the weekend for me because I think I'm in 4 different fantasy football leagues. And I mentioned I have an Ayuk on my bench in one of them. This one, I have 2 quarterbacks, and on my bench I had Tua. Because I was just, since it's the first week, I was just going off the projections. The ESPN projection said that they would say Justin Fields is going to have a better game. So I played Justin Fields instead of Tua, and I paid for it.
So in the league for Out of Bounds, I have both Tyreek Hill and Tua. Tua is on the bench, though. But Josh out, and not only that, Justin Herbert. So Justin Herbert, Tua's on the bench, but Josh Allen is going tonight. So still got some production coming tonight. But if Tua was in the starting lineup, it wouldn't have even been close as far as the points.
Yeah, because I got Diggs and Garrett Wilson on mine tonight that are going to be going. So we'll see how that plays out. But
Dalton Kincaid also going tonight, and he's in the starting lineup because of Travis Kelce being out. But he's a rookie tight end, and the Bills are expected to use him quite a bit.
Yeah. I had Christian McCaffrey had a pretty good game too.
Oh yeah, he had a great game.
He was pretty impressive. He's doing McCaffrey things out there. Let's keep we're gonna go Chuck and Brian, but he's no longer there. How about Sterling and Center Edge? What's up, Sterling? You there, Sterling? All right, I guess we lost Sterling. So, all right, we'll call back, Sterling. We'll try to get you on. But tell you what, this is what we'll do. We'll go ahead and jump into what's trending in the world of sports. Haven't had a chance to get into that, and there's plenty of things happening. So let's do it.
What's trending in the world of sports is sponsored by Arkansas-based West Rock Coffee. Join West Rock Coffee and their 1.5 million coffee farmers around the globe as they fuel Arkansas with great tasting coffee, tea, and water delivered directly to your business. Contact them at westrockcoffee.com or 833-886-JAVA today.
All right, what's trending in the world of sports? A few things that are going on, and one of them being it should have been probably for part of worst of the weekend, but our Oklahoma has an offensive coordinator named Jeff Lebby. A lot of you may remember him. He was at Ole Miss, but for whatever reason, he decided that he wanted to bring on Coach Art Briles onto the field after their win against Oklahoma's win 28-11 over SMU. It's his father-in-law. Get that. But he brought him on the field. There was pictures taken, and it was something that they got a lot of ridicule. But he's come out and apologized, says, just want everyone to understand my father-in-law's presence on the field in the game the other night is something that created a distraction. I do apologize for that. That was not the intent of all. I was just trying to celebrate with my family. So came out about that. And I get it. I get why, it's his family and everything. But I also understand, man, the optics of that, having Art Briles with all that happened and then being on the field where everyone's at. It's, social media day and age. Everyone's going to talk about it and have
people were going to make a deal because they saw him at the game to begin with. But
yeah,
it does make it a little bit worse as far as how people are viewing it when he is on the field. But it's Art Briles, so wherever he is, there's going to be scrutiny that follows, and there are going to be people that will put picks out and have something to say about it.
Also, this is a crazy one with Mel Tucker, the Michigan State head football coach. He has been suspended without pay. Originally, it was reported that he was fired. It was updated where he's been suspended without pay until they complete an investigation, and claims that he sexually harassed a sexual assault awareness speaker after she was hired to address the Spartan team. Those you may remember, her name is Brenda Tracy. She's been around for a long time and has done these advocates. And, this is something where you got to wait till the investigation comes out and what happened. But essentially, without getting into too many gory details, there were some phone calls that were taking place between the two of them to where he was allegedly being very sexual with her and was doing things that made her uncomfortable. And so she reported it, and that's where it's at. But what makes this so odd is because he did admit that he was doing those things, but he's saying that it was consensual, that she was doing it as well. But then you take it even one step further. The conversation, they had a lot of phone calls and a lot of communication over a long time period, but the phone call was like 37 minutes long. She said that she froze. She didn't hang up. She just froze and just allowed it to happen and keep happening. And then she hung up the phone. I don't know. It's a very odd thing, but I guess we'll see how it plays out. But he has been suspended without pay, and we'll see what the investigation concludes. But just a story that's, I don't know. There's not a lot of things that are adding up right now, and maybe some more details will emerge from it. But
only the two of them know exactly what it is, and at this point is his word against hers.
Yeah, and that can be problematic. And I'm not trying to say this is a reason behind it, but let's just be honest. In this day and age, when it comes to these contracts that get signed, if people want to get out of contracts, they may try to find some things to get out of it with letting them go without cause, or with cause, so that way they don't have to pay them. Not saying that's for sure what the reasoning is, but just seems like it's a little, I don't know. If you haven't completed the investigation, you suspend it. I feel like it's gotten out of hand too much already, to where it's like, hey, it could mean that you're also, wanting to move on from them too and not have to worry about getting paid. But still, we'll see how that plays out. Just a really weird story altogether, and one that's you definitely don't want to see there too. So there's what's trending in the world of sports, and we'll have some more headlines too. I know we'll bring up, but guess we do have Sterling and Chuck back. We'll try to get them to real quick. What's up, Sterling?
Guys, Pittman, he sounds like a very insecure man when he's going after reporters. Anytime a man says something like, I've been doing this for 30-some years, he's telling you right there, I know more than you. And let's be real, he's talking about playing more guys on the offensive line, playing in rotation. We all know that the offensive line, we've been told all our lives by these coaches, cohesion. Find the best five. Now, it's been okay to say, I haven't found my best five yet, or we're not playing up to snuff and all that, yada. But he got all the intensity over. I mean, you're the head coach now. You're not an offensive line coach anymore. I mean, come on, man. I mean, that's so ridiculous. Now, he did apologize. I tip my cap to him for apologizing because maybe he know what he did was wrong. He knows he answered that question wrong.
Yeah, but I think Sterling. I think all coaches have that moment. I mean, Nick Saban had that 2 weeks ago where he went off on got sensitive about a reporter's question and came out. I think just coaches in general do that.
Well, Saban got 7 rings.
So if he's got rings, he can do it. But yeah.
So that's how life is. I mean, you can say things I can't say. I mean, it's all. I mean, that's how it goes. I mean, I didn't make the rules. I'm just living in the world. I mean, Trump can say things that other people can't say. Charles Barkley can say other things people can't say. I mean, that's just how it goes. But for a guy that lost the Liberty and a team that looks some awful, and I understand it. I mean, I get it.
Hey, Sterling, we got to run. We appreciate you calling in, though. We got more Out of Bounds in the third hour of Out of Bounds coming up next with Chris Gordy, so stay with us.
Stacked Commercial Truck and Trailer has 5 service trucks available, providing you on-site service to get you back on the road. If that doesn't do it, Stacked has a new state-of-the-art 13-bay shop for service and repair on all Class A trucks, trailers, RVs, light and medium-duty commercial vehicles, tires, brakes, AC, engine repair, transmissions, differentials, and driveline repair. Stacked Commercial Truck and Trailer Repair. Get Stacked 2 miles off 530 exit 34 in Whitehall.
Goodbye 9 to 5. So long, paper checks. Later on, trips to the bank. Tired of business as usual? Say hello to business banking services from Arvest Bank. At Arvest, we support those starting new businesses or even new side hustles with loans, advanced merchant services, easy online banking tools, and time-saving products like remote deposit capture. Goodbye limits, hello possibilities. Arvest Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
If you haven't stopped by Arch Marine lately, you are literally missing the boat. And no boat is complete without a Tohatsu motor. Arch Marine in North Little Rock has them ranging from 3.5 to 140 horsepower. That's Arch Marine in North Little Rock. Take the Levy exit.
The best seats of the game don't always require tickets. Sometimes all you need is a pair of earphones. And 103.7 The Buzz. KABZ Little Rock. Buzz News with Channel 7's Ryan Houston.
There was a 9/11 memorial stair climb in memory of those who lost their lives on that day back in 2001. Those who participated in the event climbed 110 floors to symbolize the height of the Twin Towers. The number of participants were limited to the number of fallen first responders. First responders from all around the state, veterans, and others came out for the big event. Keep North Little Rock Beautiful hosted a litter cleanup in Murray Park over the weekend. It lasted 3 hours along the shoreline of the Arkansas River. Trash bags, gloves, and volunteer t-shirts were all provided to those who came out. Their mission is to empower the citizens of Little Rock in the areas of litter prevention, recycling, waste reduction, and community improvement. For more news and weather, download the free KTV News and Weather apps from the Channel 7 Newsroom. I'm Ryan Houston.
Edgar Award-winning author and Arkansas native E.Y. Craner joins the zone every Tuesday courtesy of Jackalope Cycling. Jackalope Cycling in Russellville is there with bike rentals and service, camping gear, fishing accessories, whatever gets you excited about the outdoors. E.Y. Craner Tuesday in the Zone, brought to you by Jackalope Cycling. Check them out online at jackalopecycling.com.
Weather from the Fletcher Weather Center with Channel 7's Melinda Mayo.
We'll get back up into the upper 80s today with some clouds increasing. And late tonight into Tuesday morning, the chance of a few showers. After today, though, a little cooler the rest of the week with highs just in the lower 80s. From the Channel 7 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Melinda Mayo.
Fletcher Dodge wants to buy your car. We'll buy any make or model, and we'll pay you more than anyone else. Please turn your old car into cash at Fletcher Dodge in Sherwood.
Edwards Food Giant presents Razorback Baseball color analyst and Drop Time Sports co-host Rick Schaefer every Tuesday morning on Morning Mayhem. Rick will share his special take on Razorback sports with the guys each week. Edwards Food Giant, the meat people, the only stop you'll ever have to make for your family's groceries.
The Boys and Girls Club of Central Arkansas invite you to the 2023 Leader of the Year Luncheon honoring Hunter Yurachek featuring Master of Ceremonies David Basil. With your generous support, Boys and Girls Club of Central Arkansas will create opportunities to help more kids and teens achieve great futures. The Leader of the Year Luncheon will be Wednesday, October 18th at the Clinton Presidential Center. For tickets and additional information, visit bgcofca.com.
It's time for a Corky's Ribs and Barbecue customer review. Corky's, you've ruined all of their ribs for me. I took a bite and suddenly my taste buds threw a party. Now my friends want to come over for barbecue night, but only if Corky's is invited too. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue in Little Rock and North Little Rock.
Pickup truck, sports car, motorcycle, minivan, townhouse, two-story, farmhouse, fixer-upper. What you drive and where you live is different for everyone, so it's important to have insurance that fits your needs and is just right for you. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that, which is why our agents help you design a comprehensive auto, home, and life insurance plan. Insurance that fits just right.
See Shelter Agent Drew Self in Hot Springs or Todd Matthews in Benton for a free insurance review.
Jackalope Cycling is passionate about the Arkansas outdoors. To help you enjoy this beautiful state, Jackalope offers an array of bike rentals to get you on the trails.
What about fly fishing from a bicycle?
You can't do that, but Jackalope also offers fly rods, reels, waders, fly fishing accessories, outdoor and camping gear.
Yeah, it'll be tough riding a bicycle in waders.
But you can still enjoy the Arkansas outdoors with Jackalope Cycling in Russellville or jackalopecycling.com.
Trey Shapp and Chris Shinup with you. Chris, we had a great kickoff to Men's Health at the Little Rock location. It's now time to head to Jefferson County.
Yeah, Trey, we're excited to be heading to Jefferson County, specifically Whitehall, on Tuesday, September 12th.
Men aged 40 and over, it's time for them to get screened, is it not?
That's right. And like our CEO, Scott Davis, says, you come in for a free screen and you might win a 65-inch flat screen TV.
Get it done, guys. Call 501-263-0926 for more information. Jefferson County, the kickoff to Men's Health event is coming your way.
This is Pat Bradley for Whit Davis Lumber Plus. Whit Davis Lumber Company is your blueprint for success. Whether you're a professional contractor or just need a hand being handy, Whit Davis is your partner for getting the job done right. From quality materials to tools for projects inside and out, they understand how important quality is when it comes to your home. So when you're in need of a lumberyard or hardware store, think of my friends over at Whit Davis. You can find them in Jacksonville, Cabot, Sherwood, and Greenbrier, or online at whitdavis.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car really needs a wash.
The $20 McGuire's bundle includes Gold Class Car Wash for a showroom shine.
Get in the zone.
And what about my tires?
Just spray the included Hot Shine tire coating and you're all set.
Get in the zone.
The inside is not great.
No problem. The quick interior detailer in the bundle can help with that too.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
At the Home Depot, Saturdays are about two things. The one-of-a-kind wood-fired flavor of a Traeger Ironwood XL grill.
And football.
That's right, Desmond Howard. Get fired up for the game in just a tap with Traeger's intuitive touchscreen. Then throw on your favorites and monitor the grill from anywhere with Wi-Fi technology. So you spend less time staring at the grill,
which means more time for football.
Upgrade your Saturday with Traeger and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Live from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios, this is Out of Bounds.
We're just not knocking them off the football right now. And we're not blocking particularly well on the edge. We're just not blocking particularly well, period. And you know, AJ got in a little bit of a groove there at the end and R-Dub, but we're just not a real physical football team. I thought we got a little bit better in the second half, but we've got to continue to maybe we have too many runs in going into the game. We got to figure that out.
Yeah.
With John Nabors.
Every time you put a mic in my face, I'm going to say Arkansas.
And Joe Franklin.
We won't go in the shell. We're going to go in attack mode because that's what's required.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
Girl, I can buy your Westie world with my base stuff. I know that it's good. Won't you sit it on my taste buds? I get way too bendy once you let me do the extras. Pull up on your block and break it down. We playing Tetris. AM Eat up your per diem, you just gotta hate them folk. If I quit your BM, I still rock Mercedes folk. If I quit this season, I still be the greatest folk. My left stroke just went viral. Right stroke, put a baby.
2 hours down, 1 hour to go. Appreciate everybody listening in on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. John Nabors, Joe Franklin, broadcasting live from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios with you today. And thank you, as always, for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon. It's been a great Reaction Monday presented by Fleet Management Services because there's so much to react to from the football weekend. College football still in full swing in week 2. Had the NFL week 1 also going strong, and have Monday Night Football tonight with Jets and Bills. It's going to be a great one there too, and it's just good to have it back and talking football all the time. It's what we all enjoy about the sports side of things on this time of year, and we're going to talk more about it as we go to the phone lines and welcome in friend of the show, Chris Gordy of 790 Sports Talk in Houston, as well as the Locked On SEC podcast to really recap the football weekend that was. And Chris, hey man, as always, appreciate you joining us. How you doing this afternoon?
I'm good, John, and let me just say for the record, the SEC is not dead. We are not the worst conference of college football. We still have some good teams. It's still going to be a fun year. Everybody needs to stop burying the SEC. We're fine.
Yeah, I'll agree to that, but you got to admit, man, Texas going in and beating Alabama like that is really impressive. Not saying that, the Bama's shot and Saban's era is over like some are, but man, you got to give a lot of credit to the future SEC team, Texas, for taking down the Crimson Tide at home by 10 points.
Well, here's the tough part, and I've got some friends who are Longhorn fans, and they're celebrating, and rightfully so. They deserve it. They played their butts off. But it's easy to get up for one game. What Texas is going to find out next year when they get to the conference is it's not just playing at Bama. It's playing at Bama, then playing Arkansas, then playing LSU, then at A&M. Then you get Georgia. I mean, it's just that's the grind of an SEC schedule, and that's where the losses start to mount up. But, yeah, no surprise. I mean, look, Saban, more often than not, since Saban has been at Alabama, what's he had, like 1 or 2 undefeated seasons? Like, more often than not, Saban loses a game a year. Now, he usually doesn't lose much more than that, and usually they still find a way to rally. And, today, while a lot of people, national folks, are burying Alabama, I would say, the odds are good that they're going to recoup, they're going to rebuild, or come back together and come back stronger. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if Alabama runs the table. Now, if they play like they did on Saturday, no, they're going to have at least 1 or 2 more losses down the way. But this is what Nick Saban does. Every time he loses a game, he regroups and finds a way to get stronger from it. And would not surprise me if Alabama does that. But, yeah, I mean, look, again, Texas celebrated. It's a great win. But, again, like when you get to the SEC, that grind week in and week out, that's where it takes its toll.
Texas has the receivers to match up with Alabama's secondary, but just gauging it from that game, what looks to be a bigger issue for Bama? Is it the secondary or is it Jalen Milroe and what they have going on at quarterback?
Well, Milroe it's an issue, right? The turnovers is what killed them, but the lack of the run game and the defense not being very aggressive, I thought, is what killed them. Keep this in mind, guys. How long have y'all been watching Nick Saban at Alabama? When's the last game you can remember an Alabama defense that didn't record an interception or a sack in a game? I mean, that was the most mind-boggling stat I saw. I was like, they didn't get a sack. Dallas Turner, who's supposed to be this heir apparent to Will Anderson, had an awesome freshman year 2 years ago. We're through 2 weeks of the season, and he has 0 sacks. Like, that to me is just shocking, when you talk about Alabama. So I was hearing from Alabama fans all offseason about this might be their most talented running back room that they've ever had, and, they're so deep, and all these different weapons, Jace McClellan, and Roydell Williams and Jam Miller. I mean, they ran for 100 yards on Texas, and that was it. So that's the type of game Bama normally, runs all over you for 250, 300 yards. And they weren't able to do that. But I will say, like, all of that said, Alabama went into the fourth quarter trailing by 4. They had all the momentum in the world. And, and then the interception comes. But, like, also kudos to Sark. Like, those games when they get close, what do we typically see from teams? They clam up. They go, all right, we're going to run the football. We're going to try to eat up the clock and get out of here with the win. Sark said, no, full pedal to the metal. Even when Alabama took the lead on them, they said, we're going deep and kept throwing it. And that's what you have to do to beat Alabama. You got to call bold plays, make big plays down the field, and they made them. That was what was different about that game this past weekend. Because, man, didn't it feel like late in that third quarter, they scored the touchdown, they're up 16-13. It felt like, hey, this might be where Texas clams up and they go away. But kudos to Sark. They trusted the passing game and they kept flinging it downfield.
Speaking of a team from Texas, and that's actually in the SEC right now, A&M went on the road to Miami and really got it taken to them. I know they were able to score some points, but losing 48-33, it's probably going to bounce them out of the top 25, or it has bounced them out of the top 25, and so people are starting to wonder about things anyways. But just the SEC West in general, what did you make of that game and just the SEC West after 2 weeks, as far as the predicted order of finish, as far as how you feel about how the teams are going to stack up? Have you changed your mind anyway as far as just 2 weeks into the season?
Yeah, a little bit. And keep in mind, you talk about, A&M did score some points. They blocked a punt to start the game to set up a short field to score one of those. They had, Miami had some missed field goals. I mean, they were things that worked in the Aggies' favor, and they still weren't able to capitalize and still lost by double digits. I think the offense is okay. I think Petrino's effect is going to be fine. I thought they should have ran the ball a lot better than they did against Miami, and this is where not having a Devon Achane or the type of stud running backs A&M's had in recent years, not having that guy right now is kind of hurting them. But I thought Connor Wegman was fine. He had 2 interceptions. One of them came late in the game. But I think he'll be okay. I think he'll continue to throw for a ton of yards and touchdowns. They have some stud receivers there. But that defense is really DJ Durkin's got to do some soul searching and figure out what went wrong here, because you give up 450 yards of offense to the Miami Hurricanes. I mean, Tyler Van Dyke was 21 of 30 for 374, 5 touchdowns and no picks. That's unacceptable. For you being an SEC caliber defense with 4- and 5-star talent all over the place, man, you got to do better than that. And so, look, they'll get UL Monroe at home this week. They can fix some of their woes there. But then it's Auburn, and then it's Arkansas, and then Alabama right after that. So there is a stretch here for A&M where they can run off a bunch of losses. They also have to go to Tennessee after Alabama. So they've got to figure this out quick. Now, Hugh Freeze is still at Montgomery. They'll pose some issues for that defense in 2 weeks. I'll be curious to see what Arkansas looks like by then, because as we know, Arkansas didn't look all that great this past week. But no, I mean, this is it. This is put up or shut up time for Jimbo. And if they play like they did this past weekend down the stretch of the year, he will not be the A&M coach by the end of the season.
Chris, A&M always has athletes on defense. So what was the biggest issue for that defense in that game against Miami?
Yeah, I just think not positioned right. They did a good job of slowing down Miami's run game, but the DBs that they were supposed to be loaded with are not very good. Like Damani Richardson is this 5th-year defensive back coming back for another season. Or a lot of people thought he was going to go off to the pros, but he decided to come back one more year. He was the guy on a lot of those receivers that were catching the ball downfield wide open. So yeah, it might be scheme. It might be just they don't have the talented DBs that they thought they would have. But that's the big key. I mean, the linebackers are fine. The defensive front is fine. They had a couple of sacks in this one, Shamar Stewart, Shamar Turner, but they've got to get that secondary fixed. I mean, it almost looks like Arkansas secondary last year.
Yeah, that's like one of the
joke, by the way. Come on.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, it's one of those things that actually Arkansas seems to have improved on is the secondary for one. So it's been a little different. We'll get some other games. So just since you mentioned Arkansas before, people here, of course, in Arkansas, they're concerned, they're worried. They're like, the offensive line doesn't look good, the rushing attack's not looking good. Do you guys see some legit reasons for Razorback fans to be concerned, or do you feel like there's some things that they can get and improve upon, and they can get better, and they can be just fine this season?
Yeah, I didn't hit the panic button when they said Rocket Sanders was going to miss a couple weeks, because I felt like with A.J. Green and Dubinion and Johnson, I thought I thought the backfield's talented enough that they could survive without him. But I don't understand. And I watched the game. I had it on. I mean, I get the multiple TV thing going on, but every time I looked up, it was just like it was short passes from KJ, and like I was like, when are they going to stretch the field here? And I know with the running clock, you get a lot much less, possession this year. And I just thought like that was a game like KJ finished with 136 passing yards. Like that just feels like a game that they should have. He should have 300 passing yards. And look, a win is a win. Ultimately, you just survive and advance and keep going. But I also wonder how much of it is just uninspired because you're playing such crappy opponents. You know you're on your schedule. You're opening Western Carolina and Kent State. The fans aren't excited about that. They're not fired up. I got to think some of that resonates to the players, and they're not fired up. Hopefully, we see a much more inspired effort this week against BYU because this is a much better team than the first two teams you face. Albeit, they are 2-0. They're not some world beater, but this will be your best test of the season with BYU. And then after that, it's a road trip to LSU. And they look much improved this past weekend. So, yeah, I don't know. Danino's play calling. I don't know, just offensive line not doing their job. Whatever it is, I'm just shocked when I was looking at the passing numbers today around the SEC, and I see that, KJ Jefferson, Joe Milton, and Will Rogers are near the bottom of the conference in passing yards through 2 weeks. And I'm going, what in the world? Like, this is completely upside down from what we were, expecting.
Around the NFL, which teams were you most impressed by? And also individual performances you may have been impressed by?
Yeah, obviously Cowboys last night was super impressive. The 49ers, I wondered, losing D'Amico Ryans, who's, had been that architect of that defense in recent years. They just picked up right where they left off. Defense holds the Steelers to 7 points. They rack up 30. Christian McCaffrey's a stud. Brandon Ayuk's ridiculous. And looks like Brock Purdy's just going to pick up right where he left off. So that was impressive. Some duds like the Vikings. I don't understand how Kirk Cousins could continue to throw for 340 yards, 2 touchdowns, yet they can't score points. Like, how do you only score 17 on that bad Bucs team at home? There were just a lot of duds. Obviously, the Dolphins, I think, was a lot of fun to see. A lot of people are, all the talk of the Bills and the Jets. That's the big game tonight. And a lot of people wonder if the winner of that is going to win the AFC East. Well, the Dolphins are still there, and Tua looked incredible, 460 yards passing, and a big road win at the Chargers. So, yeah, the Dolphins were impressive, the Niners were impressive, and the Cowboys were impressive. I just wonder, can the Cowboys keep playing like that week in and week out? If they do, they're gonna run away with the NFC East, and the Eagles might take that big step back this year.
Speaking with Chris Gordy of Sports Talk 790 and the Locked On SEC podcast here on the phone lines. So, Chris, obviously a team that you guys have been watching very closely, the Houston Texans. Just what'd you make of C.J. Stroud's debut? I know they lost 25-9 to the Ravens, but were there things that happened in the game to make the fans feel like it's going in the right direction, it's going to be all right, and it's going to look good? And, what could you take from that?
Yeah, they've had 4 injuries on the offensive line, and then they had one in-game that, they threw out Michael Dieter at right tackle. I don't know if he's ever played right tackle. He got his butt beat immediately when he went in there. So can't take too much away. I thought CJ did the best with the hand he was dealt. But, look, they were double-digit underdogs anyway at Baltimore, and the Ravens in the John Harbaugh era allow 17.5 points per game at home. So I kept joking with people last week. I kept saying, you think the Texans could score 17? And everybody asked said no. And so that held true. They only scored 9. But I think it'll look a lot better this week. They're at home against the Colts. They host the Colts and Anthony Richardson. And it was kind of funny. Will Anderson got his first career sack this past week for the Texans in his first game. He's the first Houston Texan to ever do that, record a sack as a rookie in their first game played. But kind of the same, against Lamar Jackson containing him running quarterback. Expect more of the same with Anthony Richardson this week, of course, the rookie from Florida. So, they're favored by a point. They should win this week and bounce back, but it was kind of what was expected. I mean, the Ravens were supposed to win. The Ravens were not all that impressive. Like, Lamar Jackson didn't do a whole heck of a lot, but they got to win. And I think they are a legit team to watch in the AFC this year. Just because Lamar's that special, and they finally have some weapons for him to throw the football to, like Zay Flowers.
Being that great defensive mind that D'Amico Ryans is, Have you seen some differences in that defense this year?
Oh, yeah. I mean, go look at what they did yesterday against Lamar Jackson. I mean, this is a guy who's a former MVP, and they held him to 169 passing and just 38 yards rushing and no touchdowns. You know, all the touchdowns came from the running back. So they also picked him off. So, yeah, it was a much improved defense. I think it was funny. You know, a lot of Texans fans were saying today, you know, I never want to be happy after a win, but how can you not be happy with what the defense gave you? I mean, they kept you in it. It's just the offense was so bad because of the offensive line. So, yeah, the future looks bright. I keep comparing it to, you know, go look at Trevor Lawrence's numbers as a rookie. He went through some growing pains. He had some high moments. He had a lot of lows that year. But the hope is, you know, a guy like Stroud, and the same goes for Anthony Richardson and Bryce Young. They're all going to go through their growing pains this year. What do they look like next year in year two? Who takes that big step forward? And obviously we're seeing that for Trevor Lawrence already in year three. He seems to keep taking that step forward.
Yeah, and looking at some of the other games too from yesterday, you know, still some questions that need to be answered because it's just one game after 1 week. But you know, you mentioned the Cowboys and the Giants game, and you know that one was a blowout. But as far as some teams that maybe you really want to see more from, maybe ones that are feeling really good, right? You know, the Browns and Bengals was an interesting game because Joe Burrow having less than 100 yards was a weird thing. It's just a matter of, well, what are some of the games or some of the teams that you say, hey, this could be good, they could be good, but you need to see a lot more from them.
Yeah, well, Joe Burrow had no business playing in that game. I admire the guy's moxie. You know, what he did at LSU was incredible, and what he's done with Cincinnati since he's got there has been incredible. But his whole mentality of "I'm good, coach, let me play." Sometimes common sense has to come in and go, "Dude, you're not ready." You know, you get hurt at the beginning of the preseason, and you know, hey, the recovery's coming along great, but he had no business being out on that football field yesterday, and the Browns just got after him with, you know, a couple of sacks, a couple of hits, and he just couldn't complete balls down the field. He just was not NFL ready yesterday. So I thought that was pretty ridiculous. On the flip side, Deshaun Watson looked, you know, not as bad, but he looked bad too. They're probably the worst interception you'll see of the season. So, you know, Browns find a way to win. You know, Falcons are going to be a fun team to watch. They beat the Panthers. The Saints eked out a win against the Titans. I've had some friends tell me, watch the Falcons. That could be a team that could sneak in and win 9 games in the NFC South, and that might be enough to win that division. So keep an eye on them. But yeah, like the Vikings, they got to do more. You know, again, Kirk Cousins, like, dude, cut out the mistakes, whatever it is. Bears, we thought this was going to be that big year. Justin Fields takes that big step forward, and man, after seeing him in Week 1, I think the Bears might be in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes when it's all said and done. And then how about the Sean Payton debut in Denver? They open with an onside kick. There's all this goodwill and momentum, and then they score 3 points in the second half and lose by a point. I mean, that, you know, with all the resources they have invested in Russell Wilson, I think he might be done. I think that might be it. So we'll see as they go along. But yeah, you never want to overreact to Week 1 because, you know, every year there's always anomalies, weird things happen, but it's hard not to overreact to some of the performances we saw yesterday.
More surprising to you, the Rams going in and beating the Seahawks at home, or the way the Packers look against the Bears in Chicago?
It's the Packers. I mean, I'm one of the doubters of Jordan Love. I just had never seen it in his limited sample size in the games he had started or played in behind Aaron Rodgers. But yeah, you couldn't play much better than that. I mean, 245 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Only sacked once, and they got Aaron Jones to my fantasy team detriment. I think in every league I'm in, I played Aaron Jones and kicked my ass yesterday. So, yeah, Green Bay looked good, man. Again, maybe it's just Chicago stinks that bad, but great, you know, pass with flying colors, Jordan Love in Week 1. And it's kind of not fair. Like, they go from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, and now if Jordan Love keeps playing like this, like, come on, man, there's got to be a dud somewhere in there. How do you guys keep getting the luck of all luck when it comes to quarterback play? It's crazy.
Real quick before you get out of here, Chris, this weekend in college football, it's not a whole lot of marquee matchups within themselves, but which game is going to have your most attention this weekend in college football?
Yeah, we get into SEC play a little bit. I think LSU at Mississippi State is a sneaky good one because Mississippi State's got a really good defense, and I'm surprised. I'm shocked LSU opened as a 10-point favorite there. South Carolina and Georgia, we saw this past weekend. When you protect Spencer Rattler, give him time to throw, he will ball out. He's one of the top leaders in the SEC in passing yards. So if they can block the Georgia front four, I think South Carolina's got a chance. Georgia has not been impressive. They have no run game to speak of. So that's a sneaky good one. And watch out, Tennessee. If Joe Milton throws like he did last week down in the swamp this weekend, they're on upset alert. Florida can pull off that win this weekend. So a couple of fun SEC games right out of the gate, and a couple teams already on upset alert.
Well, Chris, man, as always, we appreciate you joining us. It's always fun to recap the weekend of college football and NFL, and enjoy the week. And next week, I'm sure we'll be catching up with you, recapping some other great games, all right?
Yeah, and go get a win over those Cougars, guys, all right? I'm done with the Mormons.
Yeah, so I think that every Razorback fan's hoping for that. Have a good one, Chris.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, appreciate it. Chris Gordy joining us for Sports Talk 790 and the Locked On SEC podcast here on a Reaction Monday presented by Fleet Management Services. We'll take a break, come back with your Razor Hog update presented by True Service. We'll keep it moving here on Out of Bounds, so stay with us.
Fence Brokers presents Razorback Graffiti every Monday morning. Call Morning Mayhem and let them know how you feel about how they did. One sentence and one sentence only.
This is Sports Center.
Arkansas took care of business against Kent State, although not as convincing as fans may have wanted, winning 28-6. The Razorbacks still struggled on the ground, rushing 45 times for 172 yards. Arkansas now turns the page to BYU. They'll play them at home at 6:30 on Saturday night. UCA, however, won convincingly, beating Texas College 70-2. Central Arkansas racked up 499 yards, 396 of those yards coming on the ground. They averaged a staggering 9.9 yards per rush. Texas College has been outscored 166-2 so far this season as they lost week 1 to UT Permian Basin 96-0. UCA faces a little more adversity this week as they travel to Fargo, North Dakota to take on FCS powerhouse North Dakota State. Kickoff for that game will be at 3:30 on Saturday. And Arkansas State lost to Memphis 37-3 to drop to 0-2 on the season. The Red Wolves have been outscored 107-3 through 2 games. They'll host Stony Brook and Jonesboro on Saturday. Kickoff is set for 6 o'clock. I'm Christian Weaver with the Buzz Radio Network.
Justin Anker reminding you that if you want the job done right, then don't stress. Just go with the best. CertaPro Painters is your go-to painting company. You can get your free estimate scheduled at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. People who are going to be responsible and people who are going to be accountable to you and your family to make sure your project gets done right. So if you've been thinking about sprucing up your home or business for the fall season that is almost upon us, you need to get CertaPro on the case. Use the company that I've used many times over the years. It is CertaPro Painters. You'll be happy you did.
Johnston's Home Center presents Andrew Chambly when he joins Randy and Rick on Drive Time Sports every Tuesday through football season. Johnston's Home Center. If you can't find it at Johnston's Home Center, you probably don't need it.
This is Pat Bradley for Whit Davis Lumber Plus. Whit Davis Lumber Company is your blueprint for success. Whether you're a professional contractor or just need a hand being handy, Whit Davis is your partner for getting the job done right. From quality materials to tools for projects inside and out, they understand how important quality is when it comes to your home. So when you're in need of a lumberyard or hardware store, think of my friends over at Whit Davis. You can find them in Jacksonville, Cabot, Sherwood, and Greenbrier, or online at whitdavis.com.
For 20 years, Kelly Vick suffered from chronic back pain.
I would do something, and at the drop of a hat, whether it be a golf swing, picking up something, whatever, it would throw it back out again.
Pain relievers, chiropractors, nothing worked for any length of time. Then Kelly found QC Kinetics.
Listening to a radio station, I heard of QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, using powerful natural biologics to restore and repair damaged tissue with no drugs, no surgery, no downtime.
And at this point, it's the greatest thing that I've ever done.
Kelly's living life with no more back pain thanks to QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics gave me freedom. I am pain-free.
Don't live with chronic joint pain any longer. Call QC Kinetics today.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart. QC Kinetics has changed my life.
Call now for your free consultation at QC Kinetics.
501-222-8440. That's 501-222-8440. QC Kinetics. 501-222-8440.
Football fans, tailgate season is here, which means it's time to score touchdowns and savings for your vehicle. At All About Tire and Brake Tire Pros, we offer incredible deals and service like your daddy used to get, with the financing options that fit your budget. With our team by your side, you'll get MVP service along with the traction and confidence you need to stay on the road. Visit us online today at allabouttireandbrake.com. All About Tire and Brake Tire Pros. Love the drive.
Greenway is your local source for John Deere equipment and implements. Now, we've made finding the perfect piece of equipment even easier. Shop our tractor packages online at gogreenway.com. Till deeper with our down-to-earth package. Or save big with our Green Saver package. Need something with a little more muscle? Kick it up a notch with Greenway's Get In Gear package. We're here to support the DIYer in you. No matter what project comes your way, Greenway has you covered.
Want to voice your opinion so you don't have to hear the same terrible callers every day?
Are you behind on your credit card bills? Good. Pick up the phone and start dialing. Is your landlord ready to evict you? Good. Pick up the phone and start dialing. Does your girlfriend think you're a worthless loser? Good. Pick up the phone and start dialing.
Then call or text 501-661-1037 to help the cause. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
How's my protege? Jeremy.
Yeah.
Boy,
J-Bone.
J-Bone is, believe it or not, he's getting married.
What? What an idiot. Oh, what a loser. Good. Good. More for me and you.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
It's Out of Bounds here on a Reaction Monday. And folks, I got to tell you about Gwatney Chevrolet and their great deals that they have going on right now. We know that it is football season having in full swing, whether it's high school football, college football, or the National Football League. It's all happening, and you want to go out and you want to enjoy it. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of you that are going to be making the trip to Fayetteville this weekend for the Razorback game against BYU. Probably a lot of people are going to be tailgating. I know I will be, because it's a 6 o'clock game, and there's nothing better than having an all-day event to tailgate unless you have a vehicle that doesn't really set up to be tailgates. You don't want to have that tailgate when it's like, hey, come over here. We got this little bitty car to come over there. We could just pop the trunk and have some fun. No. You need you something new. With Gwatney Chevrolet, you can get you a brand new Chevy Silverado right now, 2023, 1500 crew cab for well-qualified buyers, 0% APR plus no monthly payments for 90 days when you finance with GM Financial. And you also get, in addition to that, $750 cash allowance. So they have that for the brand new Silverados. They also have the Chevy Equinoxes right now, brand new, 2.1% APR, or you can get $1,250 cash allowance through them. And that's just, again, tip of the iceberg. All the different deals that they have going on with Gwatney Chevrolet, with the amount of inventory that they have, you need to get over there right now in Jacksonville off the Gregory Street exit. Go see their award-winning sales staff. See my guy, Grant. He's the one that hooked me up, and he'll get you hooked up over there as well. You can check them out and see the inventory also online at GwatneyChevrolet.com. No matter what it is, though, you need to go to Arkansas's #1 Chevy dealer at 1301 TPY Drive. It is Gwatney Chevrolet and GwatneyChevrolet.com. I know we got some more things that we have to move through here in this segment, like your Razor Hog updates, and have a chance to hear from Sam Pittman and some of the players from this past weekend. So let's go ahead and dive into it.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
Arkansas wins the national championship! The Arkansas Razorbacks have completed the dream season! Hogs by 90!
This is your Razor Hog Update on Out of Bounds, presented by True Service Community Federal Credit Union, where they offer new mortgage loans, refinancing, auto loans, and small business loans. Online at trueservice.net.
All right, so for your Razor Hog update, Sam Pittman had this to say after the game about the rushing attack and just how it wasn't up to snuff.
We're just not knocking them off the football right now, and we're not blocking particularly well on the edge. We're just not blocking particularly well, period. And AJ got in a little bit of a groove there at the end, and R-Dub, but we're just not a real physical football team. I thought we got a little bit better in the second half, but we've got to continue to maybe we have too many runs in going at the game. We got to figure that out.
So one of the injuries that has been of note, of course, has been Rocket Sanders. He is officially ruled out this weekend against BYU. Dwight McLaughlin looks like he's going to be ready to go because he had this injury that he was dealing with.
Nudie has turf toe, and so we were checking him out before the game, and he didn't move very well. Then we put him out there the first play, and he didn't move very well, so we put Stewart out there. So, and I thought he played pretty good. You know, that was a hell of a pass, you know, that the kid made there at the end, but I thought he had a pretty good game.
Also, Sam Pittman understood that the first half was not the greatest. Second half got a little bit better. So what was said at halftime to his players?
Basically, I thought we were getting outstrained, outwanted to, and we talked about that and how we're going to fix it. We'd had a few things that caused them trouble on defense, so we continued to want to go on that. And on offense, I told Dan, I said, I don't care. I'm not worried about how many rush yards we have, and I'm trying to score a point. However we're going to score it, I don't care. But we just weren't throwing and catching it very good either. So, you know, a lot of times you can hang your hat on one of them. And so we just challenged the offense to be more physical, strain harder. And I'm trying to make something a lot better out of the second half than what I really believe that it was. It was better, but it still wasn't good.
KJ Jefferson also understands that not getting off to a fast start is something they got to work on, and also the issues that they saw with the rushing attack.
It all comes down to focus. I mean, that's the main thing. I mean, no excuses. We just got to lock into the details and execute the game plan and come out with an edge and play with passion from the start. I mean, we kind of did that second half with an edge, play with a chip on our shoulder and the edge to want to go and pull this thing out and, get the victory. But I feel like we got to come out with with an edge, a chip on our shoulder early on in the game to go and set that tempo and set the standard.
Trajan Jeffcoat had a really nice game, so much so that he was voted as SEC Defensive Lineman of the Week, and he talked about his halftime adjustments as well as the team.
We definitely took a look at ourselves. We was like, we just got to play harder. We got to grind out. We got to keep going. We got to take everything one day at a time. We got to trust the system. We just looked at it as basically a wake-up call for us just to play harder, just to go harder. So we're going to come along.
One of the positive plays, though, however, for Arkansas's defense was the pick six by Antonio Greer, which was wild. It was his first play of action as a Razorback. He happens to get a pick six, and Jaheim Thomas had this to say about that play.
Yeah, I was happy for him. I was definitely excited for him. So when I seen him just jump up and make the play and run and score, I just ran over there and just started celebrating with it because, that's big for him. First play as a Razorback, first snap, and just having a pick six, man, that's great.
Arkansas now has had 2 straight games where a pick six has taken place, and it'd be nice to keep that trend going too. But we mentioned that Rocket Sanders will be out for the game against BYU this upcoming week. But we also know the time of the game. Arkansas will be facing off against LSU there in Baton Rouge. It will be a night game at 6 p.m. on ESPN next Saturday. So it's going to be a big one for Arkansas and should be a great game between two teams. And then on the basketball side of things, this happened earlier in the show, but just worth mentioning again that Arkansas basketball was able to get another huge pickup from a commitment from the 2024 class as 4-star wing Jalen Shelley is his name. Chose the Razorbacks over Louisville, Marquette, Ohio State, LSU, Colorado, Houston, Alabama, and Texas A&M. He's 6'8", from Frisco, Texas, and he was right there at Link Academy. He transferred up the road to Branson, Missouri for his senior season. He ranks the number 67 player in the country, number 17 small forward, and I guess if you were talking about him, 47th overall according to 24/7 Sports. It's also 14th among small forwards, and he also is coming out of Link Academy, which happens to be the same place that Jordan Walsh was playing at. So nice little pop line there too. But he was on the heels of an official visit where he spent time with the team and coaching staff, sat in on practice, attended games, and even went to the football game against Kent State. But he felt like this was the place for him. So nice little pickup there for Eric Musselman. And I know basketball season is far away, but at least they're getting on top of it for next season and the basketball side of things. And there's your Razor Hog update presented by True Service. And also, I am going to make sure that I say this right before I say something wrong, and then I have to be held accountable because I don't like that. We are going to here on Out of Bounds have a few pairs of tickets to give away for Arkansas and BYU this weekend. So be on the lookout for that. For those of you wanting to go to the game, it's going to be, I don't know what's considered a sellout these days, but it is going to be a huge crowd. The weather looks great, and I know a lot of people are going to be going up there, and we're going to have 2 pairs of tickets to give away to that event. So
that'll be nice.
Yeah.
Something for people to look forward to and going to that game this weekend.
Yeah, I was going to check the weather again. Let's see. As of right now, oh my goodness gracious, look at this. A high of 78 and sunny and a low of 58. So it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful game day there on the hill. And we'll have a chance to have you have a chance to get a pair of tickets to that game. So there you have it. There is your Razor Hog update. And also shout out to James on the Asher Record Life fan feedback says, love all the shows. Every one of them is outstanding. I wish I can pick up going to Northwest Arkansas, but keep up the good work. Well, here you go, James. You actually can, because we have an app, the 103.7 The Buzz app, that you can pick up and listen all the way up to Northwest Arkansas. Or if you want to check out the live streams too, you can use the audio side of things for the YouTube, Facebook, Twitter page too. You can stream us anywhere in the world. So if you lose us getting out of signal, just download the app and play it through your Bluetooth in your vehicle, and we'll make sure you get taken care of that way. But appreciate you listening in. Really appreciate it. Before we take commercial break, let's squeeze Heath and Cavett in. What's up, Heath?
Hey, what's going on?
What's up, man?
Heath?
Hey, let me ask you guys a question. Is it fair to say that it seems like the general consensus of Colorado is that they do not want them to succeed?
Like, who's they?
Just like
it's
like
kind
a
of
lot
split,
the
Heath. It's kind of split where you hear a lot of people that are on board with them, and then you have people that, because of Coach Prime and being that figure that he is, and kind of how people view him, there are some people that don't want to see him succeed.
I mean, I read some comments that I guess people are upset that there's a lot of coaches that are in his position at other universities that have like worked their way up the ranks, and just because of his, name and being an ex-player, that he was kind of able to jump right into a head coaching position. But I mean, he's done a lot for the game of football at the college and the pro level, and he's a pretty good analyst. I mean, I like Deion Sanders. I like listening to him. I mean, he's very knowledgeable, and he pretty much says what he's going to do, and he vice versa. He does what he says. They're going to bring it. He brought it. So, I mean, and his son Shadur, I mean, he's putting up some pretty good numbers. I mean, so is that Travis Hunter kid. I mean, I don't know. It seems like that there's a lot of hate towards Colorado and Sanders, and I don't really understand why. I mean, I don't know if you've listened to his any of his post-game press conferences, but I mean, he kind of gets after the media a little bit, calls them non-believers.
And I tell you what, we got to run, Heath. Appreciate your phone call. I think a lot of it is just anytime someone's loud coming into a new thing, people are going to be a little suspect of it. But hey, he's 2-0 and he's getting the job done for sure. We got our final break and then 3 and Out here on Out of Bounds coming up next. Stay with us.
What's good, y'all? Clint Sterner here for Low T Center. Fellas, when it comes to your health, every man should know his testosterone number. What's that mean? It's simple. You need to schedule an appointment at Low T Center immediately. It's quick. It's easy. Hell, it's only $25. Walk in, take a simple blood test, get the results in about 25 minutes. So if you've been feeling tired and grumpy, sensing a lack of motivation and drive, dealing with high cholesterol, noticing stubborn weight gain and or loss of muscle mass, it's on you, fellas. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book your appointment. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
After I drop the kids off, I have to run across town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics. Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With a never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Shelter Insurance. Your local Shelter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
See Shelter agent Matt Warden in Little Rock, Seth Hobbs in Bryant, or Nick Gennardi in Sherwood.
RJ Hawk here with Chris Roberts from Southern Bank. And Chris, I know interest rates are high right now. That's what everybody's talking about. But if you're thinking about a project, whether it be a commercial project or you want to build a house, now's the time to come talk to you about what those future plans may look like.
You know, RJ, no matter what the business environment may be, we're always there to sit down with our customers and talk about their future plans and what's going on with their businesses.
And that's one thing about Southern Bank is they're a community bank. They want to be your partner.
Partnering with our customers is a key to how we do business.
And Chris, we talk about those interest rates being high, but the one good news out of that is deposit rates.
We have some great CD and checking account rates. Just give us a call and see what one of our personal bankers can do for you.
If you want more information about interest rates or those deposit rates that we just talked about, call Chris and his team today at 501-424-0900 or go online at bankwithsouthern.com. Southern Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
We're back here with Wild Bill at Motorsports Authority. Lots of folks talking football, but we are talking great deals, Wild Bill.
All of our customers are a winner right here at Motorsports Authority, folks. We're passing out the lowest prices possible for any vehicle that we got. We're passing out top dollars for the trades. We'll trade for just about anything as long as you don't have to feed it. And I tell you what, folks, we're having a great time right here at Motorsports Authority.
In Russellville on East Main and Hot Springs on Central or online at msastore.com. Get here to Motorsports Authority.
Go Hogs!
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
I gotta try that Febreze car.
Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency. All over Febreze car clips right on your fit. And my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face. When it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah. Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
So honestly, I tried Attention Grace and all those reviews were right. I've tried every brand and Attention Grace really is the softest, most comfortable, most absorbent incontinence pad ever.
She's not alone. Attention Grace is changing the game with skin-safe liners, pads, and briefs designed by women.
I love Attention Grace. I am never going back to my old brand.
Tough on leaks, safe on skin, and gentler on the planet. Attention Grace Incontinence Care. Now available at walmart.com and 1,500 supercenters nationwide.
Roger Scott, I'm going to talk to you about Sigma Supply Packaging Products and how they think outside the box. Sigma Supply, they're problem solvers. Now, they've been helping business owners for years with their waste audit analysis program. They're going to come in, they're going to analyze your packaging and shipping and see if automation is what you need to cut costs. Call or text sales manager David Breitenberg with Sigma Supply, and you can schedule your waste audit analysis. Here's the number, 501-617-4600. Sigma Supply Packaging Products. If you're not using Sigma Supply, you got low-grade product, man.
Unlike other shows, we don't talk over each other with old hee-haw jokes.
This is bullcrap. Well, I ain't standing for this. Who made us hell? Yeah, they down. Took them down.
So call or text to actually be heard on Out of Bounds at 501-661-1037.
Kane is in the building.
Their time is done. It's over.
Over? Did you say over?
Nonsense. I've not yet begun to defile myself.
Call Kenny Loggins because you're in the danger zone. I play real sports. Not trying to be the best at exercising.
It's time for 3 and Out. It's been 3 hours, and we are...
Boom. Out of here.
All right, it is time for 3 and Out. A few headlines, a few storylines, a few things that we got to dive into. I always laugh about the polls, AP poll, and it came out, and we know that Alabama dropped to number 10 after losing to Texas. Texas up to number 4. And what I love about it is they always get to see it put out as far as who's voted where and what teams they put at it and whatnot. But for some reason, there were 2 people who have AP votes that still voted Alabama 3 spots ahead of Texas in the AP poll. It's like, okay, not saying that I should get their vote or something like that, but come on, be reasonable about something like that. Did you forget? Did you get lazy? Whatever it is. But when those types of things happen, there needs to be some sort of all right, man, let's start thinking about taking your vote away or, doing something different with the voting. I don't understand it, but I'm glad it's transparent like this. And the people that ended up voting Alabama still ahead of Texas, I don't know what you're doing. That's stupid, but those people need to have a talking to about getting their vote taken away.
NBA is cracking down on resting players and load management, and they're revolving this around what they consider to be star players. And these are all-stars or all NBA team members. And so what the NBA is doing is they're going to incorporate a fine system that the first offense is going to be $100,000, second $250,000, and after that it can be more than $1 million. And they have several stipulations in place, but here's just a few where teams have to manage their roster to ensure that not more than one star player is unavailable for the same game. Teams must ensure that star players are available for national TV games and the in-season tournament games that are coming up. So they want to minimize any kind of resting of the players at that time. And also, they want to maintain a balance of number of one-game absences for star players, home and road games, with the preference being if they're going to have absences, they would be in home games, because on the road, a lot of times you have where certain fans show up to see teams play when they're in their area, and if the star players aren't playing, then it's almost like, it was a waste of time and waste of money for them.
Yeah, I kind of like that rule, and hopefully it ends up curbing a lot of that. But kudos to the NBA and trying to fix that issue too. Major League Baseball, according to reports, the Angels are open to moving Mike Trout if he seeks a trade. It's not necessarily a surprising report, but it certainly is pretty fascinating for those that, like myself, have always thought it's so weird that the Angels, especially having two of the greatest players right now, Mike Trout might be one of the greatest, if not the greatest player of this generation, for him never to have the success to go along with it. As a team, it's been pretty frustrating, I'm sure, but it'll be interesting if he wants a trade. Does he get out? If so, where does he go? How much is value? But something to look out for in Major League Baseball, where maybe, just maybe, Mike Trout may be moving on from the Angels.
It's back and forth with Kadarius Toney and the Giants fans. It's pretty funny, where they flooded his comments after drops in the games against the Lions. So after that, Kadarius Toney deleted his account on X. Now, he does still have an Instagram account, but he also limited the comments on there. But after the Giants were beaten by the Cowboys 40-0, he put out several IG stories with memes and comments about it. And one of them was, don't get quiet now. So he's going after the Giants organization and the Giants fans, but they flooded his comments to begin with, so it's kind of turned into a bit of a back and forth.
Wonder if he would have said anything if the Giants had, won, or,
he wouldn't have had anything to say.
Yeah, exactly. So also it was a pretty funny moment where Zadarius Smith was so fired up for the Browns wins over the Bengals. It was a pretty exciting thing, and he was all pumped up and excited, but he just wanted to party with the fans. He wanted to go into the club. He wanted to go in there and have a good time with in the Brown Stadium bar, but he was denied access. They wouldn't let him in, and they were all clamoring for him at the window. But according to how they have their protocols, he was not allowed to go into the bar. He had some fun with it and whatnot, but I'm like, man, come on. Like, I get it. You have protocols, but if you got a player there that's wanting to go in and have fun with the fans there in the bar, let the man in instead of out there just having to go and turn back. But he had a good spirit about it, but still, let the players celebrate with the fans because it makes them feel like they're just one of you.
Pac-Man Jones arrested at the Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky International Airport, and he was booked on misdemeanor counts of alcohol intoxication, disorderly conduct, and terroristic threatening. And Pac-Man Jones just said, "I'm hurt. This is embarrassing." And he was said to be an unruly passenger. So the authorities were called in as there was a flight, an early morning flight at the airport, Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky.
Yeah, and also saw that, I guess somebody reported that he was upset about his phone not charging, something to that extent. So, yeah, definitely not something you want to see.
And he's somebody that's been a part of the Pat McAfee show at times.
Yeah, he's been part of that, and I know he's fought in Rough and Rowdy on Barstool Sports, so he's still around there for sure. And okay, so this is kind of a weird deal. Amy Schumer is a comedian. She's being accused of cyberbullying Nicole Kidman, which is like, what in the world? How does this work? Well, apparently she was poking fun at Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis because they wrote letters to support Danny Masterson. But then she put out on her social media, on her Instagram story, she says, "I want to apologize to all the people I hurt posting a photo of Nicole Kidman and alluding her to being an alien. I'll be asking the cast of the 70s show to write letters advocating the forgiveness." She was making a joke about it. But because of that, a bunch of Nicole Kidman fans and people said that she was wrong for it, and they started getting at her in the comments. And she accused that Nicole Kidman and the people were cyberbullying her. So it's just a roundabout way of just being, dumb with social media. And that's just kind of the way that we live, unfortunately, today in social media age.
Christina Ricci seems to call out Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis for writing Danny Masterson some letters of character for him as he was going through the trial. And she just made some comments where she said, so sometimes people we loved and admired do horrible things. People we know as awesome guys can be abusers and take advantage of others at times. And, you know, it is an unfortunate situation for everything that happened there. And Danny Masterson has been sentenced, but she's taking shots at people who were kind of having his back throughout the process.
Yeah, that's a tough situation. I don't want to ever hope no one's ever in that type of situation, but yeah, that one's a rough one. So a model named Sika Moon made a digital copy of herself, but now she earns $20,000 a month putting out pictures of her AI virtual clone. We talk about AI and how crazy it's gotten and how realistic it is. She just made pictures of AI and then she put it out on social media and on OnlyFans and everything. And she's now bringing in $20,000 a month. And it's not even really her. She's a 28-year-old model. And it's all about AI. But it's just like, wow, not only are people making a killing in OnlyFans, but now we're taking it one step further where it's not even really them. Just a copy of themselves, and they're making it a killing in OnlyFans. So, yeah, be on the lookout because those AI things can be pretty scary as far as what's real and what's not.
Sharon Osbourne revealed that her and Ozzy Osbourne may be moving back to London amid his health issues here lately. She says that we've been planning something for years, and Ozzy just needs to be back in London at this point. Just feel like I want to go home and want to give Ozzy a chance to live his life in the place where he grew up.
Also, winemakers painted the small Portuguese town with a river of wine, red wine, after 2.2 million liter tanks burst. And it is literally a crazy scene, seeing nothing but a purple wine flow through like a river. But that's just a wild thing. Appreciate everybody listening to Out of Bounds today. For Joe Franklin, I'm John Nabors. Same sports show, same sports channel tomorrow afternoon. Stay tuned, folks. Drive Time Sports coming up next.
In sports, every coach is looking for the winning combination.